Happy Valentine's Day. We're going to go over the history of Valentine's Day a little bit later. Where'd it come from? Belle and I were going into it. Very much been a study of it over the last couple of days because, you know what? I like to know things. And I will tell you, there's not one really great there's a few answers, but there's not one perfect answer for Valentine's Day outside of Hallmark, which, of course, is the answer for everything because they made it up like we know it today. Geoffrey Chaucer played a role in it. He was a poet back in the day. So just that you guys know that. Speaking of Valentine's Day, I got a call the other day from a buddy he's a Democrat, like, you know, he runs campaigns, he does stuff. And we were chatting. He said, dude, I watch your show, I listen to your stuff. And we've known each other for a while. And he says, he's out in Arizona. He says, what are we missing? And I said, are you being serious? And he goes, no, he goes, I want to hear it from you. He goes, I hear it, but he goes, are you playing to a crowd? And I said, no, man. I said, you guys sprint to stupid every chance you get. You do.
Not run, just
you sprint, right? Like if you're in the water, you steer your boat to it. If somebody said, what's the worst idea you have? And everybody's like, well, we're not doing that. You guys stand up and say, we'll do that one. Like you are so bad at this. And he goes, I go, you've played to a small base. I said, do you know how easy it would be to run a competent campaign against the vast majority of people that are playing to their base? I said, the great thing about Trump is his populism. He's very much a populist. We were talking the other day, like the 80-90 things. Matt and I would talk about all the time. Trump is great at identifying 80% of people like this. That's the populism side of stuff. So let's go there. TikTok's a perfect example. It's back up and running. You can download the app now. Why? Populist thing. Very much a populist thing. I've heard the people want this. I said, you guys go the opposite. You're the 95-5. He goes, what does that mean? I said, 5% of people like it, and it's all those 5 people in the room. The 95% of the people hate it. You're like, we're going to do this. That's a failure.
They get told that it's a terrible idea, and their response is, oh, we'll double down then.
Double down. That's right. You guys hit on 21.
That is so true.
Like you were so bad at this. I've never seen a group of people I said, you got the new guy in there. He's useless. I asked him, I said, tell me this. Who's your leader? Who's the person that's leading the party?
Exactly.
You can't tell me who's leading the party because she's gone and she's not going to be heard from again. If she is, it's going to be local politics or state politics. So she's gone. I said, Gavin's trying every way, shape, or form to be a leader, but quite frankly, nobody really is a huge fan of Gavin outside of Gavin. I said, Chuck Schumer, he's not leading. I said, Nancy, I said, look, at least with Nancy, you knew, right? You knew who she was. She was going to command attention. You may have hated her, like the Republicans, everybody, but trust me, even the Republicans I talked to who've worked with her say, look, you respect her because you knew who she was. I said, you're going to get that from Hakeem Jeffries? And he goes, no. And I said, no, you're not. Because he goes, I thought that's who it was. This was Hakeem Jeffries the other night. He did the, I think Jon Stewart has a podcast. It's hard to tell if Jon Stewart doing his show for TV or is it a podcast. I think this was a podcast. He was trying to ask him a question, Hakeem Jeffries, about, hey, like, when are you guys going to come up with something?
Where is the Democrats' Project 2025? Is that underway? Everything you're saying feels right to me. The Democrats have to make this point. Where's the infrastructure to do that? And who are the leaders taking charge of that effort? Because when I listened to, I believe his name is Ken Martin, is that correct? The new DNC chair?
That's right.
He kept saying it's a messaging issue, as though, no, everything's going right, you just don't realize it yet. As opposed to, we've gotten away from New Deal values. Does that make sense to you?
So there it is. Pretty straightforward. Like, who's the guy? Like, what's your, you don't have to like, the Project 2025. The Democrats made it far more of it than it was. They took the 900 bazillion pages. They took the 4 or 5 most controversial and say, this is what it's all about, which is not true. and everybody does it, the left and the right. You go work at a think tank. You write papers that you hope get out there and that maybe a politician or two will look at and they'll maybe put something of that into play. That's just the nature of the business. And so they asked Hakeem Jeffries. So this is the guy that took over for Nancy. Like, this is supposed to be one of the future of the party. This is the guy. When you hear this, you realize, keep doing this. Just, you guys keep doing what you're doing, and you steer it stupid. You hold it, love it, nurture it, whatever you have to do, because this is arguably the dumbest answer ever.
Well, I think there's a few things going on here.
Yeah.
In terms of how we better communicate with the American people, Maya Angelou said it best. People won't remember what you say. They may not even remember what you do, but they will always remember how you make them feel. And I think what we have to do a better job of is making the American people feel that we understand the pain that they've been in economically.
You're an idiot. I would hang up on him right there. I can't listen to you. You're an idiot.
That's the same thing we heard for 4 years.
Yeah. Hey, I don't care if I do a good job for you. I care if you feel. Do you feel me doing a good job for you? That's it? That is it? No, I said what you need to do is have somebody come out and become that populist. Talk about the middle class in a way you used to. You abandoned the middle class for the academic elites. You abandoned the middle class who had common sense, and you gaslit them, who's a plumber, who's a union member, who's been a staunch Democrat, and you told them, you know what? Your daughter has to go into a bathroom with a guy and pretend it's a girl or else. You abandoned everything that you were supposedly about. And all you care about is who somebody identifies as, what color skin they have, all that insane stuff. You abandoned the exhausted majority. I always tell everybody, my show's for the exhausted majority. We don't want to go to any kind of protest or parade. We want to just live our lives, have fun, treat everybody right, and that's it. We don't live in the edges. We don't live in the fringe. There's so much room in our tent, and it's growing all the time. And I just told the guy, I said, you miss out. I said, you watch. Somebody's going to come out and you're doubling down. I said, even right now, all these protests, you guys have made this about Elon because he's Darth Vader. You've made this about Elon and all the money he's had. You're trying to have some sort of class warfare. And as all that's going on, the stuff he's exposing is stuff where even the people on the left, not the progressives, the people on the left go, well, that's stupid. No, we shouldn't be giving money to Peru to promote a gender comic book or spend millions of dollars places over things that are ridiculous that don't work. I said, you've abandoned everything. And when I hear something like that, well, all I care, Maya Angelou said it. No, Maya Angelou didn't. She would look, if she was alive right now, she goes, you guys are stupid. Does that rhyme? Here's her new poem. You guys are stupid. You're steering at stupid.
It's a partial haiku.
It is. This is right here. I'm going to play some stuff for you. This is a guy named Bill Clinton, I think his name was. I don't know. The ladies know who he is. He's rather popular. This is him. Tell me what party he would be involved with today.
We have worked to give the American people a smaller, less bureaucratic government in Washington. And we have to give the American people one that lives within its means. The era of big government is over.
We are merely looking at parts of the big bureaucracy where there has been tremendous waste and fraud and abuse.
What party do you think that guy would be involved with? Okay, how about this one? A little immigration?
All Americans, not only in the states most heavily affected, but in every place in this country, are rightly disturbed by the large numbers of illegal aliens entering our country. We must do more to stop it.
Anybody? Anybody recognize that person? Anyone? That's Bill Clinton. Talking about fiscal responsibility, talking about doing what? Making sure our border's secure, living within inside of our means, not having waste and fraud. Oh, and let's not forget, if we want to go back, we can do a double hit of Clinton with crime.
There must be no doubt about whose side we're on. People who commit crimes should be caught, convicted, and punished.
We will crush violent crime and protect all law enforcement, including Border Patrol, ICE, sheriffs, and Secret Service.
Just as in a previous generation, we had an organized effort against the mob. We need to take these people on. They are often connected to big drug cartels. They are not just gangs of kids anymore. They are often the kinds of kids that are called super predators. No conscience, no empathy.
That right there are two people that back in that day, if you were to move them forward, they would be Republicans. They would be MAGA, especially with Bill and the ladies. Because let's be real, Bill's like, I didn't know we could hire a bunch of hot ones to work with us. You ever notice Trump never has an ugly girl working for him? There's never a 300-pounder.
I think blue hair has been banned from the White House.
You never see some girl rolling up, right, with a limp, going about 2.5, 3 bills. You never see that.
No.
He's like, what's her SATs? He's like, what's her measurements? I mean, SATs. Great. They're all smart, though. I'm just kidding.
Just having fun.
That right there, though, is how far they've left. It's like even with Elon. Elon's still, in theory, he's a libertarian. He's a Democrat in so many ways. Climate change, a lot of other stuff, choice, all of those things. He, though, said, hey, much like Bill Maher, I'm standing here, the same place I've been forever. You guys moved away from me, and you're focusing on the absolute worst thing you can because it's not a race to get the niche. It's a race to get the most. That's how you win. Elections have consequences. You threw away all of your ideals a long time ago when you decided you were going to do everything you could to name everybody in the country who wasn't a supporter a Nazi, to work against the government openly when it comes to illegal immigration, to push gender ideology from activists who have absolutely lost their mind to focus on some bizarre thing that it only affects about 1% of America. So if that's your kid, trust me, you're not happy. They've lost the plot. And I told my buddy, I said, this is your problem. You guys will continue to run at stupid things, and you focused on one thing. And your big base are 20-something-year-old women who are absolutely pissed, angry, progressive women who think men suck, who think America sucks, and you focus on them, and guess what's happening? You've lost. Married women, they're not with you anymore. Men have left in droves. You then criticize anybody of color who's going to vote for a Republican as, oh, you're an Uncle Tom, you're an Uncle Pedro. You are leaving the base. Oh, my God, you're evil and bad. You insult people. It is just hilarious. And yet, I can guarantee you tomorrow you're going to run it stupid. I don't know what it is. Stupid is as stupid does, says a guy.
Yeah.
My mama told me. Yep, that's exactly what she told you. Idiots.
Well, did you see, I mean, like just various groups of Democratic House members have just been holding press conferences left and right. And Hakeem Jeffries isn't near any of them.
No.
It's like Ayanna Pressley the other day. She just decided she's going to write up a bill for reparations.
Well, because that's not going to cost us anything but $14 trillion at best.
Right.
Like, because I just said yesterday, it's reparation season, right? Somebody's going to come out. This is what's going to make everything better. Okay. If that's what you think.
I'm here to buy your vote.
Yeah. And that's not working for anybody. You know, you've got her out there the other day saying we need to do everything we can to, if we have to, censor Americans so we can move forward in progress. That's not going to get you. Even some of the Democrats in the crowd are like, I don't think that was what we were looking for. But you're out there complaining, and who are you fighting for? You're fighting for bureaucrats who are making good money, who are part of a system that gets to work at home and basically can rarely, if ever, get fired, who have all these protections because you guys have built it in for them. And the average person's looking around, they're going, yeah, I really don't care about those people. You're fighting for them, you're not fighting for us because they're part of the problem. Coming up, a lot of stuff still to get to. We are going to talk Valentine's Day. By the way, you guys, you can't see Bell's head because he doesn't have it, but he put one on today just to come in. His hair looks fantastic.
Doesn't it?
It looks so fluffy
I spent
good.
a little extra time flat
You
ironing
did.
it
You
today.
did. It looks good. I'm going to tell you guys this. He got a Brazilian blow. Looks good. It's the Chad Benson Show. Super Talk 99.7. Bulwark Capital. You want to go to Bulwark Capital? I'll tell you why. Because my buddy's going to help you over there. His name is Zach Abraham, Chief Investment Officer, Bulwark. He's going to walk you through the world of retirement in a way where, you know what? I've not seen anybody even come close to this. So they're going to build you where you want to be when it comes to your retirement. They're going to build it out for you in a real way. And how do they do this? Simple. They want to know what your retirement wants to be. What do you want to be? And from there, they're going to walk you through what's going on in your account now. They're going to give you the second opinion. They're going to send you on the way. No hard sell or anything like that. They're amazing. Lower risk, lower cost, lower volatility, most upside potential. That's what it's really all about with Bulwark Capital. Call them today. Set up a free risk review, or as I like to call it, a second opinion. 866-779-RISK. 866-779-RISK. Or check out knowyourriskradio.com. KNOW, yourriskradio.com. Investment advisory service offered through Trek Financial LLC and SEC registered investment advisor. Investments involve risk and not a guarantee. Past performance not guarantee future results. Trek 24378.
Well, TikTok is restored. The app stores from Google and Apple now have it, and we'll see what happens next. High-level meetings between the U.S. and Ukraine in the security conference in Munich. We'll let you hear some of that. And a recall of pancake mix. Tell you at 12:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Nearly a month after being removed by the country's biggest app stores, TikTok is back. Last night, Apple and Google restored TikTok to their app stores after removing them on January 19th in response to a new law requiring TikTok's Chinese parent ByteDance to divest its operations in the U.S. or be banned.
So there's a perfect example of what we were talking about earlier. Trump found an 80-20. It's a slam dunk. He listened. I want to remind everybody. Everybody said, you can't have ByteDance. They're awful and horrible. They own this company and TikTok's going to get into everything. We got to take it off. And What happened? Bipartisan. They all got together. Kumbaya. They passed a bill. The minute it was passed, what happened? Everybody freaked out. They got a bunch of calls. And they're like, oh, these people are all mad at us. If you really care about, if security is the issue, then you shouldn't care what they say. Right? Like if that's it. If a pilot's flying a plane and he's like, we're not going to go this direction, we're going to have to go over here, and everybody wants to go that direction, he's the pilot. He should decide. Just because you want to doesn't mean we should. So either it's not that big of a deal or everybody gave in. Look, I don't mind TikTok. I've always said I don't care about them trying to get our information. Our information's already out there. It's too late now. Because everything we own has some sort of backdoor in built by China. We decided long ago that once we were going to be a consumer-based nation with everything as cheap as we can possibly give, and China started really just exporting tons of stuff to us, everything was going to be infiltrated, and it has been. So I was more worried about the influence it has on especially younger generation, because it's a big influence. And not just for the dancing. But it's back. Now you can go on the App Store and buy it if you want to. Or download it. I don't think you have to buy it. I have it, I think. You know what? I do. It's one of those things where I downloaded it and then I got rid of it. But it's on. So if I do a video, though, it goes to all of my stuff. And I don't even know which one it goes to. Which is, hilarious. Because welcome to the world that, of... Is it the right one? Is this mine? Somebody's like, is this you? Like even yesterday, Bell's all, dude, you got to fix your Instagram one. Because I had hair.
That had to be what, 15, 20 years old?
No. That was what, 6-8 years ago.
You went gray inside of 5 years?
You know what? Actually, because I'm redhead, redheads go gray very, very fast. We go white.
Well, you sure did.
We go very, now if I grow my hair out, I don't have any gray. My beard, though, has always been white. So, but when I grow my hair out, because I don't, if you guys can look on YouTube, I'm bald. I do it just because it's just easy. I got sick and tired. I look like Belle. It was just too much. How do you, like, what's, speaking of hair, because I can grow my hair out fast. What is your ritual? How long does it take you to fluff and dry and go?
Oh, we're talking at least 2.5 hours. No, I wash it, I condition it, then I put it up in a towel so it kind of dries naturally a little bit. Then I blow dry it, then I flat iron it, and then I leave.
You don't flat iron it.
I flat iron.
Do you really?
I flat iron my hair.
Oh,
it's very wavy if I don't.
Oh, you look very 70s then, huh?
Yeah, I've got a picture here somewhere. I'll dig it up.
I like that.
Let me kill Mister. Just let his air dry.
Oh, see,
well, let me die to cancer too. So there's a warning in there.
That is crazy. I don't have any hair for a reason. And how long does it take you, Ken, to do yours?
Mine dries in just about 2 minutes after I get out of the shower.
There we go. See,
now the beard.
Yeah, the beard can be a little, it gets a little drippy at times. Yeah. I think I've dried it, and the next thing you know, I squeeze it, and a little bit more comes out. It's kind of odd.
Do you guys blow dry your beards?
No, we don't. No, there is, you know what's funny, though? I do have, because when my beard was longer, I do have a mini, like flat iron, just for beards, like the curl and stuff. It's pretty funny.
And you're giving me crap.
Yeah, but you know what? I never use it because I'm like, I'm going to burn my face with this thing.
That's what I would do.
I'm going to have a beard always because I'm going to burn my face. Coming up, we're going to talk a little Russia, because it's always fun to talk Russia, plus romance. It's in the air. Today's the day. Have you got your loved one that thing that they've been craving for that they didn't know that you needed to buy them on your lunch break because you love them? We'll talk about Valentine's Day coming up, among other things. It is the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
$12:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. We are now a level 2 out of 5 risk for severe weather tomorrow. Tell you more about it during the full forecast in 5 minutes. TikTok restored to the app stores of Google and Apple. Around 4 weeks ago, it was yanked as a new law took effect banning TikTok over concerns about its owners, China. President Trump has put the law on hold, promised no fines for the companies hosting the app, but Elizabeth Schulze says the clock is still ticking.
For almost 4 weeks, you couldn't download TikTok from Apple or Google's app stores, but this morning, it is back. So this means it's available for software updates. If you got a new phone, you can download TikTok again, too.
High-level meetings between the U.S. and Ukraine. Vice President Vance saying he and President Zelensky have a number of things to follow up on after their meeting. Karen Travers.
Vice President Vance met in Munich Friday for about an hour with Ukrainian President Zelensky. Both described the meeting as the starting point for conversations about bringing the war with Russia to an end.
We want the killing to stop, but we want to achieve a durable, lasting peace, not the kind of peace that's going to have Eastern Europe in conflict just a couple years down the road.
Zelensky told Vance Ukraine needs security guarantees and is thankful for support from the U.S.
A recall of 10,000 boxes of pancake mix has to do with what's in the boxes and not on the label because they contain milk not declared on the label, which could pose a risk of potentially dangerous allergic reactions. Quaker Oats recalling 2-pound boxes of Pearl Milling Company original pancake and waffle mix sold in stores in 11 states, most in the Midwest and South. Turning to sports, NASCAR says the start for the Daytona 500 being moved up due to the potential for rainy weather. It's going to start Sunday at 12:30 Middle Tennessee time. And in entertainment news, founding Duran Duran member and guitarist Andy Taylor fighting his stage 4 prostate cancer, quote, as hard as he can. That according to his bandmates at the Sanremo Music Festival in Italy, who say he would love to be there with them, but he's fighting as hard as he can, and they are with him in that fight. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Busy bee. You're going to want to be part of the Beehive Club. Why is that? Because you want to be part of an awesome club, don't you? So let's just say your HVAC goes, what are you going to do? You can call around, try to get somebody to come out there. Oh, but no, you call Busy Bee because you're part of that Beehive Club right up to the top. You go right there. Maybe you got an issue with the plumbing, right? We know how that can be. One of those days, the whole family's over. You're like, oh my goodness, there's a flood. Uncle, what you doing there? You need help? Here comes Busy Bee again. Whether it is HVAC or plumbing, they've got everything. They've got amazing deals and so much more. And, you know, summertime's getting ready to get here. You want somebody to clean out the ducts? They can do that. They've got everything you need, and they take care of you like there's no tomorrow. Join the Beehive Club right now and keep this number handy because you might need it sooner rather than later. 775-7833. That's 775-7833. Or check them out online at busybeehvac.com. Russia, Russia, Russia. What are we going to do with Russia? Well, we're not going to do anything. We're going to negotiate peace that will make some Democrats, for whatever reason, very angry because you've allowed him to get away with it. We've allowed who? Who do we allow to get away with something? Well, Putin. Putin went over into another country and we did what we could. And now it's time to move on. It's just the reality of how this is going to work. Pete Hegseth said that earlier when talking about it, because there is a reality to this. My buddy Mike Lyons, we'll get him on Monday or so. He is a former NATO guy, ran all their nuclear stuff, and retired major. He said, because I was talking to him for years about all kinds of stuff militarily-wise. He come on my show, and he's been on with Dan a couple times as well. But even before they attacked, he goes, this is going to be old school, like World War I and II, chewing up dirt for, a quarter of a mile for a week. It's going to end. And it's land for peace. That's all this was ever going to be. Well, lo and behold, that's what it's going to be. It's land for peace. But on top of that, everybody's got to feel like they're a winner. They get a trophy. That's what everybody has. This negotiation is everybody gets a trophy. Putin's got to feel like he got something out of it. We got some more land. We kept the West from coming into our world even more. They're no longer on our doorsteps. We don't have to worry about that stuff. We showed them how strong we were, blah, 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 blah. Zelensky, he's going to look like a hero. Because whether you like him or not, dude stayed there. Dude not only stayed there, but remember Biden told him to get out the first weekend. He said, you should get out. But he stayed. And he can, be upset, as he should be. Oh, they took more land, or they this, that, and the other. Here's the reality. We're throwing money down a hole, and that hole is full of dead Russians and dead Ukrainians. They're not coming back to life, and we're not getting our money back. And we need to live in the reality of what's going on.
The reality that returning to 2014 as borders as part of a negotiated settlement is unlikely. The reality of U.S. troops in Ukraine is unlikely. The reality of Ukraine membership in NATO as a part of a negotiated settlement, unlikely.
It's always going to be unlikely. It never should have happened. And it wasn't going to. He used an excuse. Look, Putin he does stuff. He's not a good dude. For those of you out there who maybe cheer him on, because I'll get some texts like that. Oh, the West and NATO played a role in it. But, there's a lot of strong feelings out there. We forget. You know how we feel about, the drug cartels in Mexico and a lot of this stuff? They feel that way about a lot of things. I lived in Europe on and off for a decade. I will tell you right now, nobody trusts the Germans. Even today, nobody trusts the Germans. Nobody does. The Russians, they were excited at first, like, oh, check them out, right? They're out of communism. Woo, look at this rock and roll, jeans. It's going to be fun, freedom. They don't really trust them that much. So while we played a role being NATO and the West, it was over. That was overplayed. But this thing should have been done a long time ago. And it's time to move on. And it's time to realize that this isn't going to end any other way than him giving up lands that they lost much of it in 2014 when on the night of I think it was the closing ceremony or the opening ceremony of the Olympics, they went in to Crimea. Boom. They did what they did. So let's get it done. And we've got to get Europe to come on board and say, look, you guys are going to have to defend yourselves here. We don't want to put any boots on the ground. We want none of that stuff. None of it. This is your area. This is your place you live. If something goes sideways, you have got to handle it. Now, if it's a NATO country, obviously, we're going to be involved, which would be more than likely because it would probably be Poland, because Poland is, just for the guys you don't know, Poland is itching for a fight. They are itching for a fight. They don't care if it's Germany. They look both at Germany and Russia and say, we got our eyes on you guys. We'd love to do this. You guys want to throw down? No. They're itching. Nothing's going to happen, though. They'll get this sorted. Is everybody going to be happy? Nah. Are they going to end up going home and, Putin and saying, look at me, I'm celebrating this. Woo, look what we did. It's great. We stopped the West from overreach, yada, yada, yada. And then Zelensky will be somewhat of a hero. And it'll be uneasy for a while. And then we move on. And then we don't spend any more money over there. And we get the Europeans to do it. We don't ask them to come over here and fund our fight against the drug cartel. And that's going to be a fight as well. So that's that. Let's move on to real stuff, kids. It is the holiday of Valentine's Day. If you want to know where Valentine's Day came from, it's so many different stories about Valentine's Day. I will tell you. So I was talking to our good buddy Bell. I couldn't take my eyes off his hair. It's delicious. And it's the origin has got several different backstories. Because there were several different Christian martyrs named Valentine. And the two classic stories. One, back in the day, the Romans would not let soldiers marry. And Valentine ignored that, and he married the soldiers anyways. And then eventually he was arrested and martyred. Sounds much different than saying executed. Oh, he was martyred. So
very romantic story.
Very romantic. The other one is something similar, but a persecution of Christianity, of which he continued to spread. He was arrested, fell in love with the jailer's daughter, and he sent her a letter signed My Valentine. My Valentine, Hallmark.
Was her name Valentine?
No, his name was Valentine.
Oh, his name.
So, and then it really took off with Geoffrey Chaucer and his poem about springtime with love and stuff like that, how the animals all come together to mate and blah, blah, blah. And then we get to this day. And this day is totally different. This day we live in a different time, right? It's no longer you meet somebody at work or church or you got the swipe rights, the swipe lefts. You've also got the scams, kids, and we want to stop you from the scams.
The FTC says Americans lost more than $1 billion to romance fraud in 2023. So Meta rolling out new tools on Instagram, Facebook Messenger, and WhatsApp to combat the fraud. The company saying they're restricting accounts that are engaging in suspicious behavior, like messaging excessive numbers of people, using fake profile pictures, fraudulently acting as a dating agency, and in one of the newest trends of these romance scams, posing as military members.
Yeah, that's a big one right there. And it cost, man, just in this time, right? Just in this time of the year, the amount of money is insane.
It's a big issue. It comes along at a lot of the holidays, actually, but certainly Valentine's Day. And when I say it's big, I mean to the tune of $1.14 billion.
Whoa, crazy. Now, here's where it gets interesting. And I'm going to tell you guys this. This happens to you. I do not feel sorry for you. In fact, you deserve it. It's the best way to describe it. You deserve this absolutely 100%.
These criminals will express their love very, very quickly within hours or days, and they'll use highly personal language to convey this and establish an emotional connection. Jason Momoa probably doesn't want to be in a relation with you. I'm sorry. That's probably not real.
If you fall for somebody pretending to be Jason Momoa, the Aquaman hunk actor, right? So you're sitting somewhere. You haven't had a date in 8 years. You think you're hot, but you're not. And all of a sudden you get Brad Pitt, Jason Momoa hitting on you, and you're just like, oh my God, it's love. It's all of the things, and you buy into that. Because if you're honest with yourself, right, you're in your moo-moo, right, you got your cankles, you get the housefrau going on, you got 400 cats. It's that you deserve everything that they take from you. Is that wrong?
Yeah, Jason's going to come for you instead of Lisa Bonet. That's He wants that person that he's never seen before in his life.
That's right. And if you buy into that, you probably already bought into the Nigerian prince. And I'm not. And it's the same thing with you guys, right? You're an accountant part-time. You live with your mother. You fly over to Eastern Europe. You find a woman that looks like she's just right off the cover of Vogue. You're balding. You drive a 1986 Honda Civic, and you're like, she's in it for love. With your members only jacket because you are the last member. You deserve it. I can't believe she left me and Mom. She said that guy was her brother, but they were really close.
It is the South. You can kiss your sister.
That's Belle, ladies and gentlemen, so don't get mad at me. I just find it odd because there are people out there that, like, I understand when old people, especially in the new fandangled world, they get a phone call and, somebody's pretending to be their grandson and they're in Mexico and they're like, we really need you to help, Grandma, and go get $500 in CVS gift cards or whatever, because that's how you get people out of jail in Mexico. But I get that. But how clueless do you have to be to think Jason Momoa not only is in love with you, but he needs you to send him a few bucks?
I spent all my Aquaman money.
And we're joking because you guys are like, there's no way. Yes, they're saying this because it happens.
Dr. Phil had an episode where some girl had been talking to, quote unquote, Bret Michaels from Poison online. And she was like, aren't you married? And he's like, I'll leave her for you. And she believed it was actually Bret Michaels.
Yeah,
see? It's like sometimes you got to wake up and smell the coffee, people.
Yeah, I'm just reality. Like, that's it. I know my place. I live in a world of reality sometimes too, Arsha, even on myself. We all know that. But you got to have you got to be grounded in some way, shape, or form. Like we were talking about yesterday, Bret Michaels would not have that had he not been a rock star.
Right.
Vince Neil would not have that had he not been a rock star.
But they are, so therefore, they get the goodies. They get the hot chicks.
Somebody said, now I'm sad. I'm an old, fat, bald truck driver, and you're telling me Taylor Swift is not calling you. She wants nothing to do with you because she's not real.
I just show up at one of her houses.
Oh, my goodness. You follow me on all my socials, at Chad Benson Show, Twitter, as well as,
if you're on YouTube, be sure and hit the like button because apparently we're in a competition with the Chris Hands Show now. Chris got 120 likes on his stream, so we're shooting for 121. So please hit the like button on the YouTube channel.
Buy some of those bots that Chris bought. Those are pretty good, too. Those are pretty good.
All I know is he's winning, and I can't have it.
So it's all good, though. You know what? We love you guys. We're different. We're a different crowd. We're a little bit more casual than a lot of other people. But you know what? We're all right. And follow me as well, Chad Benson Show TV on the YouTube. Coming up, we got more fun stuff to get to on this beautiful Friday. It is Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Big yum Omaha Steaks, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Fillets. Ooh, yeah. Right now, they got the Big Yum sale going on. You go to omahasteaks.com. Use my code Benson. Now, when you do that, they're going to get you out the best steaks because you're going to go in there, you're going to pick, and you're like, I want some fillets. Maybe some, that's good over here. Maybe some pork chops. Oh, you can create something that's amazing. You can save big. $20 when you check out. They are guaranteed to be the best. And if you don't believe it, they'll give you your money back. It's that simple, bite for bite. And the fillets, I can't describe it. I like steak. I love their fillets. I mean, I love their fillets. Their pork chops are otherworldly. And pork chops, yeah, you got to do it right. But man, I tell you what, incredible. Save big. Their Big Yum sales going on. This is what they do. This is who they are. It's about the best meat around it. Omaha delivers time and time again. The Big Yum sales going on now. Go to omahasteaks.com. Use my code Benson, get $20 at checkout. omahasteaks.com. Code Benson, get you $20 at checkout. Minimum purchase may apply.
Well, Republican leadership in the General Assembly says a total grocery tax repeal is likely dead on arrival, but they do leave open the chance for more targeted breaks. We'll tell you about it at 1 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
18-year-old Trinity Shockley, charged with conspiracy to commit murder and conspiracy to commit an act of terrorism. Authorities claim Shockley was obsessed with past mass shooters and had allegedly targeted Morrisville High School near Indianapolis for an attack possibly involving an AR-15 assault rifle. The FBI received a tip on a hotline, contacted local police, who took it from there.
Now, if you didn't hear about this story, they arrested this girl. She's a ginger, so that's... Don't mess with
Boo.
Right? You know, everybody thinks of gingers. She lived with her dad in Indiana. In 2022, she got hit by a car, and the school raised a ton of money for her. Like her back was destroyed. I mean, she was almost killed, and then she was almost paralyzed. And she wanted to go there and shoot it up. And her obsession with shooters.
Wait a minute. Did I hear what I think you said? They raised a bunch of money for her, and then she decided to go. She was,
for whatever reason, she was still mad at the school. Like the school did nothing to her. They were. It seemed to be nothing but good. She was ready. She was loaded for bear. She wanted to do this. Now get ready for this. If you went into her room, which apparently her father never did, she had posters up of all these mass shooters, and she was in love with the Parkland shooter. She has posters up. Like the police chief said, it was kind of like she had framed some of them like they were family members.
That's just weird.
Wow. You think?
It's oh man,
dude, come on! Like, are you not paying attention to what's going on with your kid? And by all accounts, they were super close. She was 18, and 18. You're in a lot of trouble at 18, kids. It's so. I mean, they said this was closed, like she was going to do this. And the reason is, you remember Parkland took place on Valentine's Day. So they thought they got to her because they thought today she was going to try to recreate that. And that is scary. But another person, though, who there were crumbs. There weren't just crumbs, by the way. There were pictures. God. I'm fascinated by people who have no idea what's going on with their kids. And I'm not talking about like if they drink a little on the side or smoke a little weed or, that's kid stuff. Like they're doing things or thinking about doing things that are heinous.
That's regular rebellion versus psychotic behavior.
Yeah. This is something where, it's like maybe our cat didn't die that way kind of feeling. But she wanted to, from what I understand, like absolutely kill as many as possible. Which, another girl, right? Because there was one in, was it Wisconsin, right around Christmas? A couple weeks before Christmas, went and shot up that school. And she supposedly was friends with another guy. I mean, this is, wow. It's like, is there some sort of subculture that we do? It used to be incels, but those are usually dudes. So this is something wholly new.
Yeah, and that's, last week, Metro Police Chief John Drake said that he is talking with lawmakers because he wants a law that would develop an algorithm that would notify law enforcement of anything like this on social media.
Yeah. Because,
as the Antioch High School shooter had apparently posted just a couple of hours prior.
And, yeah, we need something. But it also needs to be parents. We need an algorithm of parents who are willing to look. I'm not looking for perfection, but how about a little parenting?
Right.
Yeah. Like if I go in my room, my daughter's room, and she's got pictures up of animals being slaughtered, and she's smiling and talking about killing people, we're gonna have a conversation.
Yeah.
Coming up, second hour, we got some Ken's news straight ahead. It is the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
One o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Most of Middle Tennessee is under a level 2 out of 5 risk for severe weather tomorrow. We'll tell you about it during the full forecast in 5 minutes. Right now in Tennessee, 2 different bills have been filed to get rid of the tax on groceries. But it's not likely to pass. House leadership says the Democrat version's dead on arrival because it replaces that grocery tax revenue with higher taxes on high-income businesses. But Speaker Cameron Sexton says he is willing to look at other options.
If you want to look at milk and eggs and butter and bread, let's have the conversation. But to say that we're going to repeal the whole grocery tax and we want to give someone a tax break for buying a Snickers bar over here or a frozen pizza, I don't foresee that. But if you want to do it on staples that people should be, that's the staples of what's defined, then we can have that conversation.
And according to Channel 4, the only response from Democratic leadership to Speaker Sexton was to criticize Republicans for school vouchers. Both Apple and Google have now reinstated TikTok to their app stores. It was taken down nearly a month ago when the law banning TikTok over security concerns around its Chinese owners. Here's Elizabeth Schulze.
Just before the TikTok ban took effect January 19th, Apple and Google removed it from their stores. Under the law, they risked big fines. But President Trump signed an executive order his first day in office saying he won't enforce the law for 75 days. The companies now appear to have enough reassurance from the Justice Department that they're not at risk.
Vice President J.D. Vance giving a speech at the Munich Security Conference urging European officials to stem illegal immigration.
No voter on this continent went to the ballot box to open the floodgates to millions of unvetted immigrants.
He referred to the recent attack in Munich and other deadly incidents.
How many times must we suffer these appalling setbacks before we change course and take our shared civilization in a new direction?
Vance held about an hour-long meeting with Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky while in Munich to talk about ending the war in Russia. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth took part in a series of meetings today with his Polish counterpart discussing continued U.S. support in the region, including Ukraine.
President Trump's national security team, from Mike Waltz to the vice president to Secretary of State Marco Rubio, we're all on the same page. And our job is to ensure that our commander-in-chief, the President of the United States, has the full spectrum of options.
And Vice President J.D. Vance had suggested that troops on the ground are on the table. But as for Hegseth,
I do not believe, as a part of those negotiations, that U.S. troops will be on the ground.
Hamas set to release 3 hostages, including 1 American, in an exchange tomorrow. Israeli officials confirming that a U.S. citizen is on that list. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Thunderstruck. We didn't get in trouble for that, Bell, because I sang it.
Yes, we probably will.
Even if we sing it, do we get in trouble?
Yeah, you can't use the melody. I was watching a video last night of a bass player who was playing Hotel California on the bass, and he posted it on YouTube.
Uh-oh.
And
the Eagles came over and shot him?
Henley's lawyers went after him.
Really?
Yes.
Man, you know what? That endures you to music fans.
Yeah.
What did you think was going to happen?
It was funny because the guy who was posting the video about them going after the YouTuber, he said that Henley's hobbies were frowning and suing YouTubers.
Yeah, him and Lars Ulrich, right?
Well, actually, Lars has really kind of changed his tune on the whole thing.
But he, for a while though, it was. I get, like, if you're an artist, right? Like because you were in the business when it was going on, Napster and everything.
Oh God, yes.
What was that like?
It was very difficult because, if you are trying to monetize something and there's access to get it for free, you're not going to make any money. And if you're not making money, people don't get paid. If people don't get paid, they get laid off. I lost 3 different jobs in that industry due to layoffs because of the inability to monetize it at that point. Now, since then, they've been able to monetize it, and digital has caused a total rebound for the music industry.
Yeah.
But at the time when I was working promotion for record labels, it was tough.
Yeah. See, that's interesting. And now artists want it everywhere. In fact, today I was looking. I don't know if you guys saw this. Probably not. I'm a little hipper than you guys. So Macklemore and Sabrina Carter both had new songs. Macklemore had 159,000. He's got 13 million subscribers. By the way, I used to do a thing on my old show when I was out in Palm Springs. We had the douchebag of the week, and every week it was him. Because he's so annoying.
Really, it was just a way to slam Macklemore.
Yeah, because that was at the time when he was at peak annoyance.
Oh, gotcha.
But Sabrina Carpenter and Dolly Parton dropped a song today.
A duet?
Yeah.
I didn't know they were doing one.
And within an hour, it had like 2 million views, and it was everywhere. But that's one of the smartest things.
That Dolly is so brilliant.
Yeah.
The woman is not just a great artist. She is a super intelligent businesswoman. To align herself with Sabrina Carpenter gives her an audience of young people that would have never otherwise probably even heard her name.
You know what's funny, though? You think that. She's headlined Coachella, and the young people were most excited.
Oh, no, I know, but you got to remember, Sabrina has
even
just
younger
started to break through. She's just becoming a headline act. So for her to bring Dolly along on that ride,
and vice versa,
it exposes her to a totally new audience.
Yeah, which is it's a cool song because it's very country-y. Because Sabrina's very poppy, and by the way, they're both very tiny. If you've ever met Dolly, she's wee
most
tiny.
Of Dolly is,
and if you're like, I think she's taller than Sabrina.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, Sabrina's a wee tiny lass. I was joking around, like, because we were talking earlier to one of the guys here, Ian, and about like the algorithms and everything, where they, they're looking like some play, like Rumble doesn't look for stuff, and if there's any kind of, if you're goofing around playing music, they don't care. But man, they will come after you. Like it's YouTube is just, they're ready.
And the reason for that largely is because YouTube is the quote unquote brand name.
Yeah.
So that's where if piracy is going on, that's where it's going to have the most impact.
Well, yeah, that's where we pirate from.
Yes, I do.
Who doesn't?
I spent 13 years doing record promotion. I shouldn't have to pay for music.
You shouldn't. You should never have to pay for a concert. That should be a rule. You should have like one of those golden cards like they give Major League Baseball players where you can go into any game and they've got a seat for you and another person.
For
Forever.
the entire time I worked at KDF when I was a kid, I never paid for a concert ticket for the 9 years I was there.
Nor should you. Nor should you. Nor should you, my friend. This is hilarious. Somebody's upset with the Doge. I know it's a shocker, kids. I know it's a shocker. Somebody's upset with the Doge and what's going on. And I love to hear the anger. And part of it is because I don't think a lot of people understand how government works. There are people in government. This person's a person in government. I don't think he understands how it works.
I'm a federal worker, and I feel like a canary in the coal mine right now because what they're doing to us is going to happen to the entire American public. And it's not just about our jobs and our union contracts. That's all going to get worse for everybody too, but it's also just about the basic services. They're coming after public education and all the money that gets distributed to the cities and states to support our kids in school. Talking about coming after the funding to support public defenders so that people's constitutional right to a lawyer is supported. They're going to come after our public hospitals. Everything public is under attack.
Blah, blah, blah.
Right? Like, you're never going to be able to defend yourself. This is such baloney. You don't understand how, like, the states control 90% of the education as far as money goes. And directing it to the states even more with no federal insight is kind of what they're looking at. How do we streamline this? How do we do certain things? It's not we're going to eliminate the money and where it's crazy the way that people look at this. But this is also kind of interesting here because almost you can hear him say, well, but what if it works?
The entire public sphere is under attack by a handful of billionaires behind Donald Trump. Elon Musk claims he's doing this in the name of democracy. I heard you, Elon, at the Oval Office claiming that this is the expression of the democratic will of the people. This is all about transparency, what you're doing with Doge. Are you really doing it for democracy? Are you really doing it for the American people? Or are you doing it for yourself? Are you trying to do this for the American people, or are you trying to do this for your own gain? I get the feeling you didn't become the richest person in the world by looking out for others.
Wrong.
Yeah. You know how many millionaires he's made? Do you know how many people he's employed? Do you know how many people are driving around in cars that wanted to do better for the environment, and he was the one who's like, let's do this?
This drives me insane because it's this capitalism is evil attitude when the truth of the matter is that nobody is going to go buy a Tesla unless they look at that and go, hey, it's worth the money. It solves a problem for me.
Solves a problem? It's first of all, I like the environment. And that's great because it's zero, right? Zero carbon footprint, all that stuff. Oh, and then the other side of it is it's cool. Like, because when the Prius came out, people are like,
yeah, the Prius wasn't exactly cool.
No.
Teslas are considered kind of cool.
Yeah, like when you bought a Prius, they're like, here's your Birkenstocks. Have fun, right?
There's an extra pair of Crocs in the trunk.
It comes with some crunch, right? You're going to enjoy this. But along came Tesla, and that changed the game immediately. But you push that aside. He said at the end, well, are you doing this for the people? Yeah, I think he is doing it for the people. Well, he's being investigated. Okay, he's going to get this whole thought that all he cares about is money and this, that, and the other. You have no idea. Most people who are uber successful, money is, once they get to a certain level, they don't even care about that anymore. It's about achievement.
Yeah. They want to be known. It's a legacy thing. I want to be known as the guy who turned the car market to electric.
Yeah,
I want to be known as the guy who got us to Mars.
Exactly. That's he wants those things. Regardless if he was going to be here, he still wants to get to Mars. Regardless if he was going to be in helping Trump, he still wants to make sure that those cars go out as much as possible. He loves employing people, loves doing all those things. He loves, though, fixing things. And he looks at something right now, and his engineer mind says, this is broken. We need to fix this. What's the thing they were talking about with Social Security, deduplicates numbers? So the deduplicate number is... They'll pay you out at Social Security. 20 people could have that Social Security number. They're not seeing if it's being used. It's just we're just paying. It's like they're not seeing this. It's so antiquated and bad. And in his mind, I can fix that. In his mind, that's code. In his mind, what should take government 6 years to do, I can do it in 6 weeks. In his mind, he sees a problem. He wants to fix it. That's it. I watched this show. I think it's called, is it High Achiever? It's she's on Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
I don't know.
The blonde girl. God, I'm trying to think of her name. She's great. She's a detective. She's not a detective.
Rhea Perlman.
No, yeah, not Rhea Perlman. The blonde girl that's married to one of the cast members. I always forget her name. It's actually based on a French show, but it's about a woman who she's just like a cleaner. She's inside the office one day and cleaning at night in the detective's office. She sees all this stuff on the board and she moves it all around. She figures out what the thing, because she has this thing in her brain where when she sees a problem, she wants to solve it. She has to solve it. It's a puzzle, and until the puzzle is solved, she can't sleep or do anything because she's like 150 IQ. And now she works with them. That's what he is. He sees a problem. Here's the problem. Not just waste and insanity, but also nothing here is even close to being 2000, let alone 2025.
If you want to rail about climate change, the one person that you should have the utmost respect for is Elon Musk, because he has done more on a personal level to affect getting rid of internal combustion engines than anybody else on this planet.
Yeah, and because of that, how are people treating the Cybertruck?
Just look at the vandalism to this $100,000 Tesla Cybertruck. Dozens of Cybertrucks at a parking lot in Fort Lauderdale were spray painted with a vulgar term directed at Tesla owner Elon Musk. Some vandals recorded themselves in the act. Across the USA, owners of the distinctive-looking vehicles say they're being targeted by strangers. Cybertruck owners are being flipped off in traffic.
That's probably happened about 3 times in the last 2 weeks.
They also wrote a nasty message.
Yeah, that's what they're doing now. So they see the Cybertruck and they go over and they do something to it. So it's not Elon's Cybertruck, it's Tesla's Cybertruck, and somebody bought it. So Belle and I, we could each have a Cybertruck, and you could go out and destroy our Cybertruck based on the fact that a guy that you don't like made this car out of a design that a 5-year-old came up with.
It does sort of look like somebody.
It looks like every single one of the Boy Scout boxcar things.
How do you build a Cybertruck? You snap it together just like the rest of the Legos.
Just like the rest of them. But listen to what some of these people are doing.
It's gotten so bad, Emler Morales won't take his purple Cybertruck certain places.
Mine is purple, so it grabs a lot of attention. And so I think twice about places I need to go to and make sure that I really need to go.
Dr. Kumate Jaroge got nasty calls when Cybertruck haters found out he was a doctor.
I hope you kill yourself. Please do the world a favor. He told me to put a bullet in my brain.
That's a
the
person.
Tolerant, loving left.
That's a person who has no association with him. His name's not even Elon Musk. Like, oh, well, I thought you were the Elon Musk. No, he has no association with him. He bought a truck because he thought it was cool. And people go and are destroying it. That right there says everything. That's all emotion. That's all insanity. That is all of those things tied into one. None of that is based in reality. None of that is based in anything that has to do with being grounded and saying, all right, I'm not a big fan of Elon and what he's doing right now, so I'm going to get out and do everything I can to fight against what I think is his opportunity to be a technocratic, oligarch, and take over the country, et cetera, et cetera. Instead, it's I'm going to go destroy somebody else's property because I'm mad at that guy. That is so stupid. Yet, it's America, baby. Right? That's the new America of anger.
It's funny how, leftists are okay with destroying other people's property as long as it fits into their narrative of how things should be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's okay to hate people as long as it fits the narrative.
As long as it's always funny. They'll say you hate everybody, and I go, well, you hate people on the other side. Yeah, but my hate is morally superior. My hate's coming from a better place of genuine love.
Mine's justified. Yours is just evil.
That's the way they play that game. It's yes, I'm on a moral mountain, on top of my high horse, getting ready to get in my box, my boxcar, so I can yell at you about how much I have a disdain for you, call you Adolf Hitler, tell you to die because I have feelings and I have empathy. You're an idiot if that's the way you really feel. Based on nothing. Based on a potential of something that will not happen the way you think it is because you don't understand how government works. There you go, kids. What more can you say? Welcome to America. That's all I'm saying. Coming up, more good stuff. I got some fun animal stories. I do. I got an animal story that is terrifying. I got an animal story that is, wow, it's a whale of a story. And then I got an animal story that, well, they saved people money.
Is this like nature's crazy?
Nature will mess you up.
Nature will mess you up.
Yeah, we'll do that straight ahead. It's Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Ruff Greens, speaking of animals, give this to your dogs. They're doing a 90-day challenge right now at Ruff Greens. I want you to go to ruffgreens.com. Use my code Chad. They're going to get you out a $20 value Jumpstart trial bag. Not going to cost you anything but shipping. And all you have to do is 1 scoop on top of your dog's food. That's it. And the 90-day challenge works like this. First 30 days, you're going to see a shinier coat, which is nice. And you're also going to see a little bit more energy. Top of that, you're going to see, your dog start to move better after 60 days in ways that maybe you haven't seen for a while. And the reason is simple. Live nutrients you've added to their diet. They're going to have a stronger immune system, less shedding. Then you get to 90 days. 90 days, better digestion, reduced inflammation, improved heart health. You might even reduce their cancer risk, which is awesome. Try a Jumpstart trial bag of Ruff Greens today. All they ask you to do is cover the cost of shipping and take the 90-day challenge. RUFFgreens.com. Use code Chad. You cover the cost of shipping. They get you out a bag for free. Ruffgreens.com. Code Chad.
New TikTok developments. Hear European leaders getting a lecture from Vice President J.D. Vance, and Health and Human Services Secretary RFK Jr. reiterates his stance on vaccines. Coming up at 1:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Nature will mess you up.
Because it will. Absolutely it will. Case in point, this is a youngster out in the water with Pops.
Yeah.
Kayaking.
The 19-year-old was kayaking with his father on Saturday when the massive whale suddenly surfaced. Adrian saying he first thought it had eaten and swallowed him, adding the real fear set in after he resurfaced, scared that something might also happen to his father or that he would get hypothermia from the frigid waters. After a few minutes in the water, Adrian managing to reach his father's kayak.
Now, I'm sure you guys, if you haven't seen it, just type in whale and it pops up. You saw it, right, Ken?
Oh, yes.
So this guy's just kayaking, just rolling along, his kid. And out comes, out of nowhere, this massive whale takes he's looking for plankton.
Yeah.
He just, yum. Spit him right out, too. Because I thought he was going to go down and live in there for a few days and come out. And they're like, oh, my God, how was it? He was like, that was horrible. But it spit him right out. And that was cool. What's not cool is, again, nature will mess you up. When you go into nature, even in certain controlled areas, understand that nature is still nature. It's a beast. It can do things to you just because it wants to. And there are a few animals on Earth that I would be terrified of. But a hippo? Oh, baby.
Hippos are one of the most dangerous animals in the world. They kill about 500 people a year. And now an American woman is one of those statistics. She was on safari with her husband when a hippo charged and attacked her. And now her husband is suing the tour company.
An American whose wife was killed by a hippo on an African safari is suing the tour operator. Lisa and Craig Manders from Cranford, New Jersey, and their guides were on a bushwalk in Zambia. They saw a partially submerged lone hippopotamus resting in a body of water.
Now, that's the time you turn and run.
Yes.
Right?
You do not engage. You don't hang around.
Nope.
You leave.
You leave.
The hippopotamus suddenly and without warning violently attacked Lisa Manders, grabbing her by its mouth, lifting her off the ground, shaking her entire body, and crushing her head and body with its bite, the lawsuit says. It says the tour operator failed to take adequate steps to protect the American tourists. Hippos kill about 500 people a year, more than twice as many as lions.
A hippo's tooth is about 14 inches.
Yeah.
And if you've never seen what they can do, every animal on the planet gives them a wide berth.
Yes.
For a reason.
Rhinos don't mess with them.
Crocodiles stay away.
There are more deaths in Africa due to hippos than there are any other animal.
Yep. Outside of here's the thing too with hippos is you think they're fine. Right? You're going out there, and these people pay a lot of money to go on these safaris, and they're in their little canoes or whatever at certain places, and you see them, and then if they twitch their ears or they go below the water,
bingo,
you're done. And by the way, underwater, they fly.
Yep.
And you're done. And when they bite you, this lady's head was... have you ever seen something step on a watermelon? That's what it was.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's the same thing as just watching a watermelon explode.
Yeah. So be careful out there.
That must have been terrible.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh, yeah. Other than that, how was your vacation?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just horrific. Stop it, Bill. I can't believe you said that. All right, here's a good story. You guys ready for this? Beavers.
Beavers are being credited with saving Czech taxpayers more than $1 million by doing what they do best. Building dams. The rodent-built structures flooded a protected former Army training site where a roughly $1.2 million dam project stalled in 2018 over land negotiations, according to the Nature Conservation Agency. Officials with the agency had hoped to build a barrier to protect a river south of Prague and its population of critically endangered crayfish from sediment and acidic water from a pair of nearby ponds. Now, they don't have to worry about building it because, as officials put it, nature took its course as beavers created an ideal wetland environment practically overnight where the revitalization project was planned.
They were going to take a few years to build this thing. Overnight, they woke up and the beavers had built the dam. And on top of that, they've moved to another place and are building a dam that they were going to build there next.
Do those beavers work for Doge?
No, they might have. You know what's funny? If that was California, they would tell the beavers you didn't have the right permit. Yep. You'd have to tear it all down and start all over again.
Yep. Yep.
Man, I got a story about my buddy's mom trying to get a permit for all the stuff. Oh, California. You guys are going to hear this story, and you're going to go, this is why it's going to sink into the ocean. This is it. Coming up, we got that.
This is why it should sink into the ocean.
Yeah, no doubt. Plus, we got some other stuff, including, kids, are you ready for this? The vaccine. Which one? Doesn't matter, because apparently, according to The View and everybody else, that guy that's the new Health and Human Service Secretary, he's going to get rid of everything. Yep, he's bringing back polio. He's bringing back malaria, the yellow fever. He is a plague enthusiast, according to a lot of people. We'll talk about that straight ahead. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
$1:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. We are under a level 2 out of 5 risk for severe weather tomorrow. Tell you about it during the full forecast in 5 minutes. New developments impacting TikTok and your access. It has returned to the app stores of Apple and Google in the U.S.
New users can now download TikTok, and existing users can get software updates. A Trump executive order January 20th put enforcement of the congressional ban on hold for 75 days to allow the administration to determine what to do next. While the Justice Department has enforcement discretion, an executive order can't override law, and Apple and Google could still face steep fines.
European leaders at the Munich Security Conference got a lecture from Vice President J.D. Vance on what he sees as their biggest threat.
The threat that I worry the most about vis-a-vis Europe is not Russia, it's not China, it's not any other external actor. And what I worry about is the threat from within.
Vance accused European leaders of using Soviet-era words, as he put it, misinformation and disinformation to suppress dissenting ideas, rather than engaging in debate with their own people to figure out what they are actually fighting for. And newly sworn-in Health and Human Services Secretary RFK Jr. reiterates his stance on vaccines.
I'm not going to take away anybody's vaccine. If people are happy with their vaccines, they ought to be able to get them. What we're going to do is give people good science.
And on the subject of health, Pope Francis admitted to the hospital.
The Vatican announcing this morning that the Pope has been admitted to the hospital and he's undergoing what they say are some necessary diagnostic tests. He'll also be continuing his treatment for bronchitis. Now, earlier this week, when Pope Francis was speaking at his weekly general audience, he had to pause and ask an aide to finish his reading. The Pope is 88 years old and he's had several problems with his health recently, battling respiratory infections.
That is Lama Hassan and the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Get your retirement ready toolkit from our buddies over at Beacon. So let's say you're in retirement right now, but you're not quite sure they're doing enough for you. Smart thing is to talk to somebody local. Beacon will deliver that right to you. You deserve confidence knowing what's going on in the economy, and they've got something called a retirement ready toolkit. It's free, and all you have to do is call them up, 615-488-9303. There's no obligation whatsoever. There's no cost and no pressure. So when you get it, you're going to get a money enough for life book, because you want to make sure you have enough money for life. A retirement planning checklist. Again, you want to make sure you have everything. And I like this thing, maximize your retirement income white paper. No cost. You're going to learn some. You can press flesh because they're local. Call 615-488-9303. That's 615-488-9303 for your free retirement ready toolkit, or check them out online at askbeaconnow.com. RFK Jr. Apparently he is a plague enthusiast. So bringing it all back. He's going old school. Bring it all back. Who wants the measles?
I love the cry on Fox News right now. Biden administration admitted to fraud to being a problem.
Of course.
But it's a problem, but we'll just ignore it. It'll go away on its own.
It is. Look, like with the Doge, and I was honest with you guys. Some of you guys got mad at me. We're going to be able to cut some stuff. We'll streamline some stuff. The fraud and abuse and some of the waste we can get rid of. But the drilling down to what needs to change, and I'm not talking about people that are close to Social Security now. I'm not talking about people that are already retired. But we've got to be honest with the younger generation. And I'll go over the math next hour of if you would have been allowed to divert your Social Security and your 401k money from your employer and put it into the market, what it would look like. And let me tell you something. You're probably not going to be thrilled if you're getting Social Security right now. You're just not. It is. We need to come up with something else. But it's the Ponzi scheme that they can't let go because they need it for other things. They borrow against it, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But as they borrow against it, it gets further and further in the hole and our debt gets bigger. And the service on our debt is massive. Massive.
What is it, almost $1 trillion a year now?
$700 billion a year. Almost $1 trillion. It's getting to the point where it's going to pass soon military spending. So think about that. We're on our way to passing military spending potentially just to pay our debt. Imagine having a credit card, and on your credit card, by the time you finish thinking you're going to pay something off, you're paying for a dinner that you bought, you had a year and a half ago still. What'd your dinner cost you? $400? What it really cost you? $20. And that's where we are, which is insane. Doesn't matter, though, because we're going to have, kids, let's be real. The plague is coming back thanks to RFK Jr. I'm just going to play some of it. You just listen. Just listen to them. Just chatter away.
So, ladies, what do you think of these confirmations?
I'm really nervous, about the whole kit and caboodle, but RFK Jr. is scary to me because a lot of the things we've talked about vaccinations, but we're also seeing a huge upticks of some health problems. We've had measles outbreaks in Texas, at least 22 children, 2 adults affected. The flu levels in the U.S. are higher than they've been in 15 years. And I have to believe some of that comes from the COVID vaccine being politicized and then people holding back on all vaccines because flu vaccines are also down, almost by half among kids. Yeah. And Bill Gates was...
And by the way, that has nothing to do with the politicization. It's all about the Republicans who did that. Zero issue with that. People had questions. Remember, before the flu vaccine, the COVID vaccine, it was the crunchy granola people. The Jenny McCarthy's of the world who said, oh, my kid got autism because of this, or we don't need all these things and all these chemicals. And it was all the lefties who were like, oh, man, we don't need any of these things, and blah, blah. Then COVID came, and it became a right versus left when it came to the vaccine. It became this weird battle of right versus left, and it became politicized, just like a mask did. Who would have thought a mask would be politicized? Welcome to modern times.
And he warned us we'll have another pandemic. And I remember asking him during commercial, what happened to the once-in-a-lifetime pandemic? Because I thought we could check that box off. And he was like, no, because there's a lot of things happening in regard to environmentally, people being more in touch in certain areas of the world with animals, which is where these viruses come from. And then he went on to say, and there's a high chance of bioterrorism. Mm-hmm. So he's like, there's a 10% chance in the next 4 years we could do 2020 all over again. So,
there's always a 10% chance of something, isn't there? And the bioterrorism's real. We should know. You guys are all funding it. All of you are funding because we all want to know. I've never been one of these conspiracy things that thinks people let it out on purpose. My thought has always been about COVID. I'll just give you a quick snapshot. It's in the wild. They go. They get it. Like they do a lot of stuff. They play around with it. They play God with it. Somebody gets sick. I've seen this movie. It's called Outbreak. And rather than figuring anything out, Barney doesn't guard the way he should. Oh, Andy. Next thing you know, that person's out there, and they say, well, they got it from the wet market. What animals? Raccoon dog, a pangolin, a bat. I mean, they went through how many animals? Well, it could have been this. It could have been that. It could have been this. Well, if it's a bat virus, why did the pangolin have it? They shouldn't be hanging out with each other. What kind of party are they at? That's the craziness of it. It became politicized, and it shouldn't. China lied. People died. They hid it from everybody. And we didn't do enough due diligence when we knew there was stuff going on because we thought there's no way it's really that bad. And by the time that anything happened, it was too late. It was too late. But this, he's never going to let anybody take a vaccine again. It's insane. It is insane. Speaking of insane, let's keep with the insanity, shall we?
I think that.
This is pretty cool.
But, why was Mitch McConnell able to do it now? Because now he has no fear of retribution from Donald Trump, right? Yeah. Whereas everybody else is terrified of him and towing the line.
Somebody said that they were afraid for their lives and also for the lives of their children and their wives. It's not just not being reelected. Wow. Yeah. It's physical threats that go on. All I can say is get your vaccines now, America.
So Trump threatened people's families, apparently, to make sure that he got elected. And now that they've got him in here, get your vaccines. And no matter how many times said, nobody's taking anybody's vaccines. Nobody's going to take anybody's vaccine. No. Nobody's taking anybody's vaccines. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I love to know, when my kids got I want to know what they were getting. What's in it? What's it for? And my kids got vaccinated because I was totally fine with that. You know what? I don't like the plague. I don't like measles. I don't like any of those things. And I'll tell you something here. I test positive for tuberculosis. Because when I was a kid, growing up, Southern California, Matt and I talked about the other day. We had the first, or Chris and I, the Cambodian, the boat people, they called them, from the Khmer Rouge. They got out of Laos and Cambodia, during their horrific war. Well, lo and behold, a lot of them had tuberculosis. They let them into the country, so I test positive for it. So it's what they call, it's a living virus that's dead. They give you a pill for a year. You have to take it every day for a year, and you never shows up, but you always test positive for it. So I got zero problems with getting vaccines. I got zero problems with any of that stuff. But I do like to know what I'm putting in my body. And we don't do enough when it comes to the food we eat. We should pay attention to this. And it shouldn't be politicized, but it is. And part of the problem of the politicization was the left wanted this thing to be a miracle cure, that you get a shot and it was over with. They told you could never get it. They told you couldn't get it. And then when science said not only could you get it, the people that are spreading it the most for a while were people who had gotten the shot, had very little in way of symptoms, and spread it easier. It shouldn't be politicized, but unfortunately, these things are going to be politicized because we now live in a world where everything is politics. Doesn't matter what it is. Like I said, if you can turn a mask into politics, that is crazy. But we do. We turn a mask into politics in a heartbeat. And I'm not a fan of stuff like that because when it comes to people's lives, we should be serious about it. And I think he is serious about it. I think he's going to do a decent job. Well, he doesn't have any medical background. It's not a medical job. Yes, it is. No, it's not. It's a political job. Because if it was a medical job, you'd be asking him, I don't know, what's your doctorate in? Why are everybody that serves on the sport has to be a doctor? All of those people. Dr. Fauci stopped being a doctor a long time ago. He was a politician that had doctor by his name. When you look at Rand Paul, do you first think, he's doctor? No, he's a politician. Doctor by trade back in the day, but he's a politician. Because that's what that job is. It's politics. And I think he's going to expose some stuff. There's no doubt in my mind he will expose some things. Now, what will he expose? I don't know, because I don't know what's out there. I don't think any of us do. But I do know there are things out there And I think the biggest exposure is going to come is the pharmaceutical companies have way too much sway, and they're too close with everybody that works in all of the health departments because they all jump ship. One day you're there, you go to several meetings, and next thing you know, one of these big companies comes and says, hey, we were like, you should come over here and work for us. We'll pay you $300,000 a year. You're like, I'm making $120. I might as well go over there. You make $300,000, $400,000, you get some stock options, then you get invited to come back. They say, once you come back over here, you can be one of the leaders over here. We'll pay you $300,000 a year. Plus, you're going to have all the great benefits and you're going to have sway. Oh, I'll go do that. And they jump back and forth and that's what happens. I think he'll expose a lot of that stuff. And I think we'll find out that not everything is perfect, but it's not as bad. And like everything else, here's the thing that I laugh about when it comes to the media in particular. 4 years from now, when we're still here, we haven't had another pandemic, people could still get vaccines. You know, I mean, the things that we were told was going to happen haven't happened. None of these people will be held accountable for their BS. This is what Ken and I were talking about the other day. There's no accountability anymore for these big, giant, established media companies to throw wacky stuff out there, say stuff that's inflammatory and wrong. And, if you come up, I get stuff wrong. I'm apologizing. Sorry, I got it wrong. Didn't know. That happens. They're not interested in anything. They'll just, because nobody holds them accountable. And when it did happen, it was after Russia. Because remember, MSNBC in particular and CNN, their numbers dumped like never before. Because people are like, you lied to us. You lied to us. You lied and lied and lied. That's what they do. Because it's not about getting it right. It's about being first, and it's about getting you to pay attention, or at least them. And there'll be no accountability. And I'm not looking for them to, I'm not saying it's their opinion, but their opinion is so skewed. And, 4 years from now, if I'm on The View, I'm going to go, so you guys said we could never get vaccines again. That didn't work. He pointed out he could go tomorrow, get his first day really in there, and he could find out all of this stuff and expose it. And you know who's going to believe it? Nobody but the people on the right.
Well, I think the people that are thrown into the LGBTQ camps are probably going to have to pay for the vaccines out of pocket.
Yeah. Well, of course they are. Dude, come on. You know that. Because they're going to be eliminated, right? Still waiting for that.
Haven't we rounded up most of them at this point?
How long with the women?
What day of the dictatorship is this?
What are we?
How many days are we in?
We're almost in a month, right? We're almost a month into the dictatorship.
Crazy.
Getting closer to Roundup Day. I can't wait. Whew, God, I got my net last night. It's so cool. It's the one where I get to go catch women and put them inside and make them make babies and barefoot. They can't do anything but work and serve men only.
If Trump was actually going to be a dictator, which was predicted repeatedly by the left, one of the things you would not be seeing are all these leftists protesting.
Well, yesterday, I don't know, who did Matt have on? I forget his name, the guy from the Tennessean.
I forgot his name. He was the...
But he said, he said he was going to be a dictator from day one. Who buys that?
What he said was he'll be a dictator for a day, and he was being facetious.
Yeah, that he was going to sign a bunch of stuff, overturn all the stuff that was overturned when he lost, and that was it. And if he's a dictator, your protests are really, really sneaky. Oh, my Lord. It is the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Birch gold. Gold is great to protect yourself. A hedge of a just in case. And I always joke about a zombie apocalypse, but what about a recession? What about the potential for inflation getting even hotter? What about uncertainty that, stuff throughout the Middle East and elsewhere could explode and all of a sudden the markets freak out and it goes, you need gold. Diversification is key. Gold is the answer. It's been around forever and a day. Will continue to be here. And with the way metals are moving, it's a smart thing to do to have something as that safety net. Text the name Benson. That's me. To Birch Gold at 989898. It's that simple. Just type in Benson 989898. They send you out the ultimate guide to gold in the Trump era. Top of that, they're going to get you a investor kit, let you show you what they're all about and why gold is important It's that simple. I read an article today that people are having gold flown in from London on airplanes where they're buying seats to have their bars and things brought in because there's a worry. You should be a part of having something to protect yourself. Text the word Benson to 989898 today for Birch Gold.
Got the story of a man in Nashville following other men into bathrooms, taking pictures of them, and then texting them. Tell you about it at 2 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
What did Matt Murphy do?
I love that. I'm pulling that out. I'm isolating that, putting it on the hotkey.
What do you hear how this guy got these victims to call him? It's how he got their numbers.
Oh, good God.
That's professional tease there.
This went on this started happening almost 2 years ago.
You are kidding me.
No.
Wow. I can't wait for this story.
Yeah, I might just kill some time till this thing comes up. That's crazy. Wow. We're going to have a law for that. Man, they do like a law here. I'll tell you that right now.
Oh, they do.
You know, that's what I tell people this is why we need two parties. Because no matter how much you love the right, or if you're on the left, you love the left, The facts are people can't be trusted. Everybody will always try to do one more thing, and that's why we get the pendulum swinging. And it gets extreme to another extreme to another extreme. You stay the course, you do well, that's great. You start to overreach, and you're already seeing that in some states. We're like, we're going to ban all abortion, we're going to ban everything. And then you've got the lunacy. There's Ohio. I might do that story next hour. I don't know really how to position it. It's more of like a rated R, but I'll try to make it PG-13. That makes sense? But it's because people, we go from one extreme to another. Like we were talking to Brad yesterday. Most times in a time like this where you've got the House and the Senate, we're a fickle bunch. And usually we say, you got too much power. We're going to take a little bit of that power away from you. We're going to give them the Senate. We're going to give them the House because that's all you need to, to slow everything down because we don't want too much, especially if it moves too fast because everybody's, If you go too crazy, we see what happens. And we were talking earlier. We're going to talk about it again next hour. They run it stupid. And if you run it stupid and you run at insane, you end up losing. Because the average person, which is this exhausted majority in the middle, they're like, no, thanks. Hey, are you a comic book guy? Because you seem to be kind of comic-y.
Yeah, actually, I used to be until 2008 when the financial crisis hit. But at one point, I had 38,000 comic books.
Well, there we go. Wow. See, never felt the love of a good woman.
Oh, yes, I have.
So... yeah. Then she popped.
I hate you.
Are you a Marvel guy?
Yes.
Are you going to go see the new?
No. It looks like trash just from the trailers.
So from what I've seen, and my uncle went and saw it. He's like, and he is a comic nerd. He's got like you. He said, first of all, you're Hawk or whatever he was. I can't see anything, but that's with the wings.
Falcon?
Yeah, you're Falcon.
Yeah.
I just still see you as Falcon. He goes, secondly, it's awful. He goes, it's just stupid.
You know what blows me away
That's
is
terrible.
There was a point in the 90s when I think it was Ron Perlman owned Marvel. And instead of producing stories, they were producing collectibles. It's like he could care less what was between the covers, just put some foil on the cover and sell a bunch. And all these stories, not all, but most of the stories that Marvel's using are stories that come from that period where people weren't really buying comic books, and they sure as hell weren't reading them. They were sticking them in bags and boards and sticking them in boxes.
Because there is an arc for this, as they talked about. The problem is the movie is just so
and
poorly
most
done.
people don't know what these stories are. But if you look at something from like the 60s or the 70s, there's a base out there, but it's not their target base.
Yeah.
So they don't want to use those stories, even though people actually read and remember those stories.
Yeah, and remember who your audience is.
I think it's been bad ever since the passing of Stan Lee.
There's something about that, yeah. Well,
they just changed.
They went woke. The last time they did a movie that wasn't woke was the last Avengers movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then, they decided to try everything and then some. The only hope I have for and I don't read comic books. I think the Thunderbolts might look interesting. But we'll see how it's done.
Well, again, that team itself, that story came out of the 90s when nobody read the comic books they bought.
Yeah. This just looks bad. And from what my uncle said, this movie should have just been called The Red Hulk.
Yeah, just making the
Well, it's a different character.
The Red Hulk.
Because that's it.
That's right. There's a Red Hulk.
But they said the Red Hulk, it dominates a lot of this movie. This movie should just been called The Red Hulk.
Red Hulk, a Green Hulk, a Purple Hulk.
Oh,
it's just ridiculous.
The Rainbow Hulk.
There was a point where Marvel Comics was called the House of Ideas.
Yeah.
And that was in the 60s and 70s. What they need to be called now is the House of Rehash.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Just keep going back. They're not thinking of anything new. My name's Chad Benson. Hello, everybody. Happy Valentine's Day. It is Chad Benson Show. Super Talk 99.7.
Two o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. We're under a level 2 out of 5 risk for severe weather tomorrow. Tell you more about it during the full forecast in 5 minutes. Right now in Nashville, a 37-year-old man faces charges for allegedly following other men into bathrooms, taking pictures of them, then texting them sexual messages. Now, in February of last year, one of the victims says they found a note on his car with a phone number asking him to call because a credit card had been found near his vehicle. Then he started getting sexual text messages, which included a photo of him in a bathroom where he worked in the Athens Way building. Well, they got the suspect. They released him yesterday on a $20,000 bond. New TikTok development. Users can now download the app from Apple and Google after President Trump delayed enforcement of a ban over security concerns. Here's Elizabeth Schulze.
Just before the TikTok ban took effect January 19th, Apple and Google removed it from their stores. Under the law, they risked big fines. But President Trump signed an executive order his first day in office saying he won't enforce the law for 75 days. The companies now appear to have enough reassurance from the Justice Department that they're not at risk.
Overseas, European leaders do not seem to like what Vice President J.D. Vance said during his speech to the Munich Security Conference today when he blasted censorship across the continent.
In Washington, there is a new sheriff in town. And under Donald Trump's leadership, we may disagree with your views, but we will fight to defend your right to offer it in the public square, agree or disagree.
Very little applause there. Vance says censorship is the biggest threat to Europe, not China or Russia. Hamas set to release 3 hostages, including 1 American, in an exchange tomorrow. Israeli officials confirming a U.S. citizen is on the list. Marcus Moore is in Tel Aviv.
I understand that this exchange will happen tomorrow. It's expected to happen. 3 hostages will be released. One of them, the American Sagi Dekel Ahin, who, by the way, is a father of 3 children. And in fact, his youngest child was born while he's been in captivity. And so they're certainly hoping that he will be freed soon to be with his family.
That is the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Lean. You guys know what yo-yo diet is? I don't know what it is, Chad. It's where you eat too much food and you put on 20 pounds that you lost, and then you lose 25, then you put on 30. That's right. You don't want to do that. You don't. Lean is going to help you with that. I want you to lean into this. So what is lean? It's no prescription. You're not doing a shot or anything like that. It's awesome. It's all natural. Scientists, doctors put this together. It's going to help you in major ways. There's 3 big things, okay? So this yo-yo, up and down, and you don't want that. You don't get big and have the trombone guy. That's not you. You're going to be fit thanks to lean, and you're going to stay that way. First, maintains healthy body blood sugar, right? That's what you want. That's great. Then, this is cool, controls appetite. We need that in some cravings because we tend to snack and eat too much, and that's usually our big issue. And then, most importantly, burns fat by converting it into energy. Right now, take 20% off just to get you started. Use code Benson20 at takelean.com. Try it. It's awesome. I take it every single day. Takelean.com. Use code Benson20 to save 20%. All right, I want to go over this. How'd this guy do this again, Ken? I didn't hear it.
Oh, yeah.
So Matt did what?
So what this guy did, we're talking about the man who was arrested by Metro Police for allegedly following men in the bathrooms, taking pictures of them, then texting them sexual messages. So according to one victim, he found a note on his car with a phone number asking him to call because a credit card had been found near his vehicle. That's when he started getting these sexual text messages, which included a photo of him in a bathroom where he worked in the Athens Way building. So somehow this guy got these people to call who he was stalking and then sending them pictures that he was taking.
Wow.
Of them. And this started back in 2023.
That's
people
a gutsy
call
move.
me weird.
That's a gutsy move.
And get this. So apparently I don't see any felony charges against him. It looks like it's misdemeanor. Yesterday he bonded out for 20 grand.
Yeah, it's Mr. Wiener.
Yeah.
It is.
Mr. Wiener. I want to go home.
Drop the mic. We're going home, guys. The 320 grand, man. You had to put up 32 grand for that.
No, 20 grand.
Oh, 20 grand.
Yeah.
That's what he bonded out at?
Yep.
Oh, man. That is crazy.
Yeah.
You know what? That's gutsy. Right, ladies? You know what that's about. You've been online dating. Hi, what's your name? Here's a picture of my wiener.
So I'm just curious what the actual charge would be, because I guess it would be.
Let's see here.
You know, I know you're not allowed to take pictures of people in the bathroom. It's certainly. Well, I don't know. I mean, could you, as long as they're not explicit?
Not sure. Go ahead.
There is somewhat of a reasonable expectation of privacy.
Well, yeah. I mean, you know, Chuck Berry. Listen.
It'd be a good way to possibly get your butt kicked.
Yeah.
Oh, without a doubt.
So he took pictures of them.
Yes.
Like, wow, and you didn't know. That's the weird thing. It's like, were they just walking in the bathroom? They weren't like pictures?
Yeah, police apparently looked at surveillance video, and they figured out who this guy was because they watched him over and over again over a period of time, just following men into a bathroom.
Okay.
A lot of it over here on this Athens Way.
This sounds like a very, very lonely man.
You know what's weird, though? How many times did he send? Like, he might have done it 100 times, and only 30 guys.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's charged with 4 misdemeanor counts of unlawful photography and 4 misdemeanor counts of stalking.
Yeah.
So only 4 people have come. Apparently they've only got like solid cases of 4 victims, but there possibly could be more out there.
Well, if this was a woman he was doing it to, it'd be a lot different. But because it's men, they're like, it's a dude. You should handle your own business. Block the number, move on with your life. That's such a weird thing, though.
Just take some vitamins and kick his ass.
I'm going to kick you.
But you know what? I mean, if I walk to my car and there's a note on it
That's the
I don't care what it says. Call this number.
And how many credit cards do you have to have before you're not sure if you've lost one or not?
Well, yeah, I know. Here's the thing that's weird in saying that. The lady, very nice lady, returned my card today. It fell out of my jacket or something. I didn't even know was in there.
Very
it was
nice.
Very nice. She followed me, actually, in her car.
She stalked you? Did she take pictures?
She
Let's
did
prosecute
not.
her.
She just said, here, you weirdo, you pig boy. Take this.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, so that was very nice. But
very nice.
The thing that's weird is you took a picture of me in the bathroom, but you also know where my car is. So it's like it's not just me walking into the bathroom or out. You had to make an effort.
Yeah, this dude was stalking. He was actively picking people out.
Man,
that he saw. And they didn't name him in this story either.
Why not?
I don't know.
Like they're adults. It's not like it's, he's not charged with rape or anything like that. It still doesn't matter. You're over 18.
Yeah.
We should know.
Why is it that if somebody is arrested for drunk driving, their names get published, but they haven't been convicted yet, but this guy's name gets to be hidden? That's not right.
No, it's not. It's not. That's shame. Shame is why. Shame. This person should be shamed. That is pretty. Speaking of shame, you guys want to hear a great song? Don't worry, we don't have to worry. This is not copyrighted. Okay, so I'll let you guys know that.
They'll fight from dawn to dusk. Oh,
Jingle
which
bells.
side
Oh, wait, no,
are
it's
you
not.
on?
That's the I Hate Elon Doge song.
Yeah.
This is a woman who's a Democrat. Is not thrilled by them.
Oh, really? Y'all talk about taking what to the streets? I hear you Democrat politicians talking about taking something to the street. We got to use violence. Oh, yeah? Well, come on out to the street because there's a whole bunch of angry taxpayers, baby. And I don't think you got enough bodyguards for us, honey. And now y'all want to sing civil rights songs? What side are you on? What side are you on? Really? We ain't on your damn side. We on God's side because y'all the devil.
Let's hear some more.
Fight against Doge. We'll fight Elon Musk.
I feel like they're making up. And then we're going to come, but you get you, Doge. Yeah, team.
What, are these people stuck back in the 60s?
Yeah. No, because at least they rhymed somewhat in the 60s.
Well,
Well, in the 60s, too, people will actually show up for a protest.
And who shows up here? I was watching yesterday. People asked me, some people even today asked me, because we were talking about legacy media, and somebody said something about Fox, and who do you watch? I said, watch Breaking Point. You guys will like it. It's Crystal Ball. She is super left-leaning. She's really funny. She's great, but she's not insane. And then her partner, because they own the company, is Sagar, and it's awesome. But they were talking about this. The only people showing up at these protests are the people who work for the federal government.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're affecting my paycheck. Yeah. Go get a real job then.
Nobody's showing up going, we're really mad at Elon. Well, you guys are going to lose your jobs. And you're like, no, he's not. Elon's not coming for my job.
Nope.
It's insane.
Just shows you who our money's going to.
This is what, and they're out there. Let's hear. Oh, God, it's the worst. Man, I don't know what's worse. That thing about sending your wiener to somebody or this?
We'll fight against Doge. We'll fight Elon Musk. No Elon's kept within our walls. We'll fight from dawn to dusk.
Oh,
which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Tell me. Tell me.
Oh, my.
God, that is awful.
That's terrible.
When I hear that, I'm like, just go, just do it, Elon. Oh, wow. And
36 trillion in debt, and these people are all wringing their hands over
the
getting rid
fact
of waste.
That somebody's in there looking at stuff, thinking we're going to be replaced. And part of that is it's a human thing, because we all want to think we can't be replaced. Right? Like, we're really important and we're really vital.
Yeah.
I'm vital to my family. That's it. Like, that's what matters. Everybody can be replaced. Period. That's life. Because everybody's going to be replaced, because that's called life. What part don't people understand? And they think that they're above something. And the other part is, too, they've been sold a bill of goods that because they're a civil servant, that they're doing the Lord's work. They're sacrificing for you and I. They're working for us. That's a bunch of crap. You don't.
They're leeching from us.
Yes. You're part of the bureaucracy and crap. You walk around. If you were making $50,000 a year and you could be making 150 in the private sector, all right, you've done this because you're doing something. The fact that you're making more than the person in the private sector working half the time with zero accountability or repercussions if you do anything wrong, that's what pisses people off. That's it right there. Thank you very much. 1, 2, 3.
We'll fight against Doge. We'll fight Elon Musk.
Oh, Lord.
I like the guy in the back. Yeah.
Yeah, hit it. That person's all, we're going to taking it to the streets.
They're going to get Michael McDonald. They're going to try to get a Michael McDonald drop.
That would be great.
Oh, my gosh.
People might be willing to listen to their message if there was some yacht rock behind it.
Oh, yacht rock's so great.
Well, and she sounds like she mispronounces Doge.
She doesn't know what she's doing.
She calls it Doge.
Doge. Well, and by the way, if you were to go to Central Casting, you're like, I need a lady who's a little bit. She collects porcelain cats. Yeah, that's the one. She got glasses, right? She wears polyester pants and like flowered shirt that's too big. She's yes.
What color was her hair? Blue?
Bad. No. It's sandy. It's sandy blondish. It's a little dirty dishwashery. Yes, that's her right there. Oh, yeah. Lots of porcelain cats.
We'll fight against Doge.
That's right there. That's what she said. Fight against Doge.
Oh.
Have you ever... I always wanted to go to one of these, like where they're singing, and just be off key, and just like if they're clapping,
you would fit in if you did that.
But if you're clapping, just like
be offbeat,
just offbeat.
Instead of clapping on the 1 and 2, you're clapping on the ands.
We'll fight Elon Musk. No Elon scab within our walls. We'll fight from dawn to dusk. Oh, which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Tell me.
Helen Keller would have jumped off a bridge.
That is so.
She would have. She would have just. I can't do this. You guys are awful. Oh yeah. Yeah. She. If you see her, you're like, she's got so many porcelain cats. She would like to have a real one, but she's allergic. And she's also one of those women.
she did have a real one, and they keep running away.
She's also one of those women that you know has had carpal tunnel. Where's the brace?
Oh my goodness! She's got knitted covers for her rolls of toilet
Are you kidding
paper.
me? Probably has plastic on her couch. Which side?
We'll fight against Doge. We'll fight.
Oh, she's beautiful.
Oh man.
Oh, we'll talk a little Doge. We'll talk a little Democrats. We'll talk a lot of stuff. We got a bunch of stuff and a little bit of Valentine's Day. Guys, have you gotten anybody anything? Right? You get out there. Still a little time to do something special so you don't get yelled at. You probably won't get anything special, but do it or else. It's the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 997. The storms are coming, and USS is there to help you out. You're going to want to make sure that you are prepared for what might be coming storm-wise. You've got cracks, potentially. You've got stuff happening under your foundation. Maybe you don't know what's going on, and it's a little bit, but there's been the snow melting, and now there's potential snow come back, and all of a sudden they got the rain, and oh, geez. Rots, mold? No, you don't want that. Call USS, United Structural Systems. They got over 30 years of experience. They rock. Basements, crawl space, waterproofing basements with wall stabilization, foundation. There's so many things I can't even tell you. There's just too many. And here's a great thing. They're going to come out absolutely free, give you that full inspection. They're not going to sell you anything unnecessary. They're there to help, and they guarantee their best. 30,000 Google reviews, 5-star. They're awesome. keep this number, call this number, especially if you're thinking, oh, maybe we've got something going on before the rains come, before it gets too late. 615-488-7855. That's 615-488-7855 or online at ussTN.com.
New TikTok developments, a recall of pancake mix, NASCAR announcement, and an update on the health of a founding member of one of the arguably most iconic Grammy Award-winning English rock bands of all time, coming up at 2:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Her name is Rio, and she...
Susanna.
Don't run it.
Her name is Rio.
Which side are you on?
This side, I'm over here. I'd be running around. I'm on this side. Now I'm over here. Man, what side are you on?
Oh, goodness.
All because of Elon. Somebody said, have you guys talked about, like, what if it was George Soros? Yeah. What if it was George Soros? First of all, for those of you guys, I have a love-hate relationship with George because I was a currency trader for a long time, and he is arguably the greatest currency trader of all time. Not even close. The Alchemy of Finance is a brilliant book, and it's all about his trading. He had countries beg him. France and Britain both begged him not to short their currency because it would have destroyed him. And he put the Bank of England out of business, basically. France thought it would destroy their economy. Like, he was that good. And then he's nuts. The other side of it. And his son's just even wackier.
He's fine being a billionaire, but don't think you get to be one.
Yeah. He's going to give all his money away. By that, he's going to set up a foundation and then run around, loan himself money, and put crazy wackadoo stuff out there. But if it was him, yeah, because the thing is, it's not about the cuts and the exposure of silliness. It's about the fact that it's where are the cuts going to come from? See, if it was all cuts from the military, I don't think you'd see a lot of these people out here throwing a fit. No. But it's coming from somewhere that makes them nervous because it's them. And it's self-preservation.
And right now they're trying to make sure that the slush fund of vote buying is still available to them. They want to be able to go and tell their constituents when it comes time for re-election, oh, I went and fought those evil bastard capitalists on your behalf. You need to re-elect me, and I'll get you more stuff.
And because that's all it is anymore. That's what we've devolved to nowadays, which is, you're running for junior high class president. Everybody gets a popsicle and we get a 2-hour lunch. Vote for me. Dude, I'm voting for that guy.
I definitely would for the
I specifically remember that kind of thing happening when I was in. In fact, there was one point. Do you remember the cartoon Bloom County?
Yeah.
There was a point where during the presidential election at school, somebody came up with the idea of electing Bill the Cat. Well, Bill didn't win, but he did come in an extremely strong second out of a field of 4. That's how serious these kids take that.
Yeah, exactly. And the younger generation, they think government is there to be the end all to be all to a certain extent, because Gen Z is late, like the last of Gen Z into Alpha. Alpha's got a whole different look, because they look up and they think, wow, both of you guys are wackadoos. You guys are both. And there's their savior, I think, for in that sense of the next generation. But it's the minute you can vote yourself your own goodies, not your own best interest, or I think this is good for the planet, or I like this person because I'm for choice, or I'm a pro-lifer. The minute you can vote yourself, you're good. They're giving me stuff. All bets are off. All bets are off.
Because those same people that you're voting for will continue to act that way because they know that you're susceptible to it.
Yeah. And they're going to, well, I know what makes you tick. I know what you need. I know what makes you tick. You think about this for a second. Let's just say, like when I was talking to Afton the other day, off the air we're talking, I said, could you imagine there's always going to be more have-nots than haves. And by that I mean like middle class comparatively to billionaires and millionaires. You're always going to have that. You always have a lot of people that rent. What if renters weren't allowed to vote on property taxes? You don't own any property. Why should you vote on something you don't own on? And then it was only the property people. Well, then that changes the whole story, right? Like you're like, oh, well, hold on a second. Maybe I don't want to raise taxes to pay for a bunch of other. What if you don't get a vote? You don't have a kid, so you shouldn't have to pay property taxes that go directly to schools or whatever. If we gave people the opportunity, you'd find out that not everybody's as altruistic as you think they are. Everybody's always in it for their own best interest, because that's the world that we not only created, but that's just who we are from nature. We take care of us.
It's really, really easy to pretend you're altruistic, too, when it's other people's money that they had to go out and work to earn.
Mm-hmm. And when next time you hear somebody say corporations are greedy, remind them government's always trying to figure out a way to squeeze another nickel, another dime, another quarter. We didn't say penny because we're getting rid of that. Another dollar out of you. And not so you can get a good, so they can take it and distribute it to other people, because they say trickle down doesn't work unless they're the ones who get to trickle it down. Coming up, why the Democrats are floundering. Maybe we'll play some more hits from the Democrats out in the crowd, rocking a which side are you on? It is Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
.2:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Drivers, we've got a crash. 65 southbound at Trinity Lane, just north of downtown. Full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Tell you about the potential for severe weather this weekend. TikTok has been restored to Google and Apple's app stores. Around 4 weeks ago, it was yanked as a new law took effect, banning TikTok over concerns about its Chinese-based owners. President Trump has put that law on hold, promised no fines for the companies hosting the app, but ABC's Elizabeth Schulze says the clock is still clicking.
For almost 4 weeks, you couldn't download TikTok from Apple or Google's app stores, but this morning, It is back, so this means it's available for software updates. If you got a new phone, you can download TikTok again, too.
High-level meetings between the U.S. and Ukraine. Vice President Vance saying he and President Zelensky have a, quote, number of things to follow up on after their meeting. Karen Travers, tell us.
Vice President Vance met in Munich Friday for about an hour with Ukrainian President Zelensky. Both described the meeting as the starting point for conversations about bringing the war with Russia to an end.
We want the killing to stop, but we want to achieve a durable, lasting peace, not the kind of peace that's going to have Eastern Europe in conflict just a couple years down the road.
Zelensky told Vance Ukraine needs security guarantees and is thankful for support from the U.S.
A recall of 10,000 boxes of pancake mix has to do with what's in the boxes, not on the label, because they contain milk not declared on the label, which could pose a risk of potentially dangerous allergic reactions. Quaker Oats recalling 2-pound boxes of Pearl Milling Company original pancake and waffle mix, sold in stores in 11 states, most in the Midwest and South. And turning to sports, NASCAR says the start for the Daytona 500 Sunday being moved up due to the potential for rainy weather. Going to start at 12:30 Middle Tennessee time. And entertainment news. Founding Duran Duran member and guitarist Andy Taylor fighting his stage 4 prostate cancer, quote, as hard as he can. That according to his bandmates at the Sanremo Music Festival in Italy, who say he would love to be there with them, but he's fighting as hard as he can, and they are with him in that fight. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
What side am I on? I'm on the right side. Ruff Greens, ruffgreens.com. Go there now and get yourself a free bag of Ruff Greens. What is it? Supplement for your dog. Sprinkle it with a scoop right in the bag. It's like living. It's got enzymes, all this great probiotics, making stuff. Put it on top of your dog's food. They have meow greens as well for cats, just in case you don't have a dog. But right now they're doing a 90-day challenge. They want you to take this 90-day challenge for your dog. It's going to help them in so many ways. First 30 days, more energy. And you're going to start to see their coat start to become fuller. By day 60, you're going to say, whoa, they're not shedding, right? They've got more energy. You're going to see that their digestive tract is better. They're going to look and just feel better. And the aches and pains are going to slowly start to go away, especially your dog's a little bit older. And by day 90, it's like having a new dog, right? Better immune system, great coat. They're going to be healthier, happier, and it's great for their heart health. Try the 90-day challenge right now with Ruff Greens, ruffgreens.com. Get a Jumpstart trial bag, a $20 value, absolutely free. All they ask you to do is cover the cost of shipping. Ruffgreens.com. Use code CHAD. Ruffgreens.com, code CHAD. They're releasing some information about the helicopter that crashed into the airplane, and it looks like bad data, maybe even didn't hear what they were saying.
The instructions from ATC were to pass behind the CRJ, that transmission was interrupted, it was stepped on. We do not have evidence on the CVR of the Black Hawk that they may have not received pass behind because the mic key. They were communicating with air traffic control at the time.
So it sounds like everybody was talking to each other at the same time. And there was also a sense that there could have been bad data coming in and that the helicopter thought they were at a certain level. That's what it was reading when really they weren't.
The pilot flying indicated they were at 300 feet. The instructor pilot indicated they were at 400 feet. Neither pilot made a comment discussing an altitude discrepancy. At this time, we don't know why there was a discrepancy between the two.
No. They'll figure it out as they do. I mean, obviously the deep dive is going to come. I mean, it takes time, but it feels like this was human error based on potentially bad issues with maybe the equipment and communication. Not that there wasn't communication. There was too much of it by the sounds of it. Everybody was talking at once, which, as we all know, when we all talk at once, nobody can hear anything. So I did the deep dive into, so do you remember when Bush came out and he's like, hey, I think we should privatize Social Security. And everybody's like, oh my God, you can't do that. You can't do that. And I said at the time I was young, I was like, well, younger. I was like, let's do it. I mean, we got nothing. I've always said I don't ever expect, I expect to live longer and have opportunities age-wise of getting to the place where I would get Social Security, but I expect us to run out of money, and we're on our way. And nobody wants to have the conversation about this because it is important. And it's not about taking away people's money today and gambling. It's not about taking away tomorrow. It's not about taking away. It's not about any of those. It's about what are we going to do to get people to be in a better financial situation and give people opportunities to control what their future is going to be outside of just the 401k. And remember, and then IRA and stuff like that, they want this money. They need it because they went and raided it. It was only supposed to be a one-time thing, and it's never stopped. They borrow against it, borrow against it. It's a Ponzi scheme. First people into the Ponzi scheme, they do well. People in the early to middle, they do okay. People in the middle might do, but you start getting to the back end, it's Bernie Madoff. And when I brought it up here, people are like, oh, and you hear people, they want to take away and privatize it. If I was to ask a 25-year-old, would you like to be able to control your own retirement and have, instead of some 401k there, you know, the government comes in and they take that money, put it into a Social Security retirement account where they're going to go trade this. Yeah, let's do that. Well, what can we do? So I did the deep dive. If in 2006 or 8, whenever it was, you put the money in and there was going to be a match. By the time you retire in, say, 35, right? Like I did it all the way up for like another 10 years. You'd have about $1.6-ish million. If you would have done it over essentially somewhat of a lifetime. And this is based on, you know, some good years, some bad years, but kind of the average. If you would have done it back from 1990, let's say, to 35. So you put in your time and you retire at 65. You'd have almost $6 million. Let's cut that in half. You'd have $3 million. Out of that $3 million, and you can take 4%, you're doing all right. As opposed to $2,000 a month, give or take. We've got to think outside the box. It's not about taking away people's monies now. You shouldn't touch any of that. We don't even means test people. If you're worth $50 million, you don't need Social Security. You should be able to easily say, I don't want this. I know you've paid into it. Put it to other people. We're not doing the things we do. The waste alone is tremendous. The fraud, it's big. And the inefficiency of all of these places is huge. Somebody said today, well, look how bad he's run Twitter. I said, no. Twitter is run fine. He got rid of a bunch of people. It's running better than ever. It's the politics of Twitter that have caused people to shy away from it advertising-wise. It's not whether or not it still moves, whether or not it still is up and running. That's the issue that he's had. But it's way better. I mean, Twitter was pretty basic. Now there's all kinds of things. They've got AI. They've got all kinds of stuff. You videos. You do all the stuff now. All that done with only 10%. We have to figure out how we go about attacking these things. And the same thing goes for Medicare. For every dollar you put into Medicare, you're going to take $8 out over your lifetime. So you give $1, you get $8 back. Now that's going to get worse as the gray tsunami comes and we don't replenish the workforce. That's going to get much worse. And a vast majority of those $8 that you're going to take, they're going to come in the last 90 days of your life. So we've got to think in a much different way if we're serious about getting the debt. If we're not serious about it, if we're just going to be like, screw it, it's my great-great-great-great-grandkids are going to have to eat it and their world will fall apart, but I won't be here. Well, there you go. Play that. I don't care. But we're not going to get there fighting. We're not going to get there unless we have a real conversation with America. That's the thing that is a big problem with so much of our politics. People are afraid to be honest with everybody. Everybody talks about transparency. We want transparency. We want transparency. Do we? Or do we want other things? Do we want to be told the things we want to hear? Because I think a lot of that is, tell me what I want to hear. I want the affirmation. I'm not really interested in the information. I've always said that they know there's aliens, but they're like, man, I don't know if we could tell these people. They're idiots. I'm not sure they're ready for that. But we've got to be honest. We're going broke. And when I see Republicans go, we'll never touch your social, we'll never rethink the ideas, we'll never do anything. Yeah, we'll just drive straight off the cliff. And the Democrats are like, yeah, we're going to drive right with you off the cliff because we're afraid to do anything because it takes somebody strong to go, look, guys, this is what's going to happen. You're going to lose 20 to 30% within the next 5 years because we won't have enough money. And by then, the debt service at the rate we're growing is going to be as big, if not bigger than everything. So from there, we're going to continue to see it drop because we're going to have no more money. We're going to be borrowing like it's going out of style. And there's no $50 trillion lottery that we can win to pay it all down. So we have to have an honest conversation about how we go about fixing these things. But nobody will ever do that because the left and the right are terrified to be honest with you. The fact that you know it's coming, and I think they think there's some magical elixir that's coming. Like we're going to print a silver coin that's going to be worth $40 trillion, and magically everything's going to disappear. No. We're just going to drive into the cliff. We're just going to put on, we'll just keep going until we can't, because that's what happens in life. You keep going until this is only going to work until it doesn't, which is a shame. But would you like to know the truth so you have a way to adjust? And messaging is a real issue for both sides when it comes to this issue because fear. Because even the hint of saying something about Social Security will get people freaking out. They will. They'll lose their minds. You don't want to be that president that is in charge in 5-6 years. You don't. Because you're going to have to deal with this, and everybody's going to hate you for it because nobody else has dealt with it. Because we robbed ourselves and our future so we could do a whole bunch of other things that we didn't need to do. And that's not good. No, no, no. Oh, my goodness. You know what's great? Louisiana Health Department says it will no longer promote mass vaccinations. Who's that for? I know a few people who didn't want to get their kids vaccinated, and that was long before COVID ever came out, and they were crunchy. You know, like the granola folk. You know what I'm talking about? A little crunchy, a little hippie, right? They were already into, like, I think vaccines give you autism. What if you find out that there's a potential that could happen? I mean, they've done 1,000 trillion tests, and they've done all these science. You know, we're going to find out more. I don't think they do. I think there's a lot more that goes into that. But is that a possibility? I think if we dig deeper, because you know what it is? It's just like I was talking about. How many of you really want to know how broke we are? How many really want to know that there is a chance? Because if you think you'd be mad talking about it now and I'm going to get rid of that person, how mad are you going to be in 5 years if your Social Security goes from, you know, let's just around it, just say $2,000 a month down to $1,400 a month? I mean, oh, you'd be mad then. Well, why didn't you tell me? We tried to, but you wanted nothing to do with it. It's the same thing with, like, vaccinations. He tried to tell you that maybe some of these things were wacky. Nobody wanted to listen. Do I think that some people have adverse reactions? Oh, that's absolutely true. But do I think vaccines are, for the most part, safe? Yes. Do I think that they're going to get rid of them? That's the thing. It keeps, every time I turn around, it is one of those things where they've got something where he'll be like, we don't trust him. You know, we put a bear in the woods. We can't trust him. What were we talking about earlier? Was it the bear? The whole thing with the bear, like, you know, and he almost left it in his car. It could have exploded. But instead he put it out there. Well, that makes him a bad person. It's just nuts. It's Valentine's Day. Get your Valentines. Do you have a Valentine? Did you get your cats anything, Bill?
Yeah, I let them live in my house.
That's it? That's all you got them?
Yeah.
You're one of those people.
I am.
What did Fritz get?
You know what? I don't know if we got Fritz anything this year.
He lets him live in the house.
I'll bring him some flowers from Publix, too.
There you go, Publix. There you go. Publix will be on point tonight. Their floors are busy.
I stopped at Kroger on the way in, and it was swamped with people picking up flowers this morning.
Yeah. Not a lot of girls picking up. What do you get guys, right? Like, I mean, you know, it's always about the girl.
Of course.
Yeah. Jeez. Jeez.
That's toxic masculinity.
Oh, yeah, it is. Total toxic masculinity. That's all that's out there. Once again, Democrats, just keep steering right into crazy. You're going to do well.
Which side are you on?
Not that side, I'll tell you that. Coming up, we're going to wrap up the show. Matt Murphy's in the house as well on this Valentine's. It is the Chad Benson Show. Super Talk 99.7.
We'll fight. We'll fight against
Don't. See, this is mean. No, you're mean.
I'm not doing it.
No, you're very angry. This is not very nice.
I didn't do anything.
This shows everybody.
And guess what?
All of y'all that think Chad is a nice person, he's not. He's not a nice guy. It's not a nice guy thing. He knows what I just told him.
It's funny. He comes in. He goes, "I can't get that song out of my head."
I can't get it out of my head. I played it 3 days ago. I can't get it out of my head. 3 days it's been inside my head. I'm in the shower this morning. I'm not kidding. I'm in the shower this morning. Which side are you
on the way to work today, I was rocking it.
You know, I'm singing to the soap. Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
On the underside. What side is you on?
Yeah, I can't get it out of my head. I think there's got to be a remix in there. I mean, somebody needs to do it. Somebody needs to put that song.
It's what the kids would call an earworm.
Yeah, it is.
An earworm.
It's a pretty good one.
Yeah. Well, partially because they're so awful at it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Oh, yeah, that's a part of it.
Yeah, that's it.
But I want to see, what I want to see is like the Mormon Tabernacle Choir tackle it.
Oh, that'd be good.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that'd be
like
good.
Like a choir of hundreds go after that song. That'd be good. What do you know? What do you know good?
Yeah.
You know what I've been doing? You know, it's the oddest thing happened to me. I had this note left on my car telling me that I left my credit card in a bathroom.
Yeah. So did I.
And it was weird. And so I had to call the guy. We had to work it out.
That's it.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
He wanted favors.
Did he?
Yeah.
Did he want favors?
No, and he called the right guy. He got him.
Yeah, I bet you did.
You know,
I'll meet him in your bathroom.
I got bills, baby.
Yeah, Valentine's Day's coming.
Committed to the bit.
Bills to stay, bills to pay. Wide stance. Let's go.
Wide stance. Who was that?
Remember that guy, Senator
Yeah, the
Larry?
senator.
That's Larry Craig.
Larry Craig.
That's
yeah,
right.
There you go.
Oh, I always remember when he's having a press conference talking about how he always spreads his legs out when he goes to the bathroom.
I'm just you know what? That was a learning experience for me because I had no. I mean, I'm proud to note that I had no idea that was a thing, right? That you signify yourself in the bathroom stalls with the old wide stance. And did everybody else do this when that happened? You kind of go back over the course of your life at times when you're in a public bathroom going, well, is that why that guy had his feet kind of over in my area? I just thought he was being rude. he wanted to get to know me.
He was loving on you. You just didn't know he was loving on you.
Wanted to see where we could go with all of this.
Oh, goodness me.
He was one of the singing congressmen. Remember that?
Oh, that's right.
Group?
One of the singing. There were singing congressmen?
Yeah, Trent Lott, Larry Craig. Yeah. Who were the others?
Which side are you on?
Slinging the hits.
Yeah. Which side? Number one with a bullet.
My goodness gracious.
I got to look those up.
This is Casey.
Trent Lott. I remember Trent Lott from Mississippi. I remember him. I don't. I remember Larry Craig. Obviously, I don't remember singing Congressman Ken. Can't say that I do.
Yeah, they performed places like it was one of those. It was like a glee club. Remember that?
The singing senator.
Little barbershop quartet.
John Ashcroft, he was the baritone.
Mm-hmm.
As you do.
Wide stance Larry Craig was the lead. Jim Jeffords, the tenor, and Trent Lott, the bass.
Oh, look at that.
The lead would be the higher pitched voice, the sopranos, if you will.
Mm-hmm. That's because he spreads his legs so far. That's why he does it.
Yeah, they sang Elvira.
Oh, did they?
Oh, good.
That's a great song.
I bet it was great.
It was a fabulous rendition. Oak Ridge Boys. Back in the day.
Back in the day. What are you talking about today?
You know, it's, I obviously will deal with the subjects of the day, and they need to be dealt with. I know that you've talked to Representative Afton Ben about this. I've not brought it up on my show, but I wonder if there is enough portion of the state of Tennessee that would be behind the legalization of marijuana, either medical or recreational, that you could put something behind the pothole bill. I mean, I'm a libertarian. I don't care. I don't believe that it's the government's business to tell you a law-abiding adult otherwise that is of sound mind what to put inside of your body.
I was surprised by the amount of texts that we got that were in support. Because, you hear a lot of these people, but I was surprised at how many texts that we got were like, yeah, let's just do it. And some of them are like, I don't smoke, but we got to do some of these potholes.
I do not. Right. It's like, okay, fine, whatever. If we can get the potholes taken care of, that's fine. Which is kind of why it resonates, because obviously it's a pot for potholes, but it also addresses a need that people want to see filled, no pun intended. I would tend to believe that there's a higher percentage of Tennesseans who would not give a rip than we could perhaps survey.
Yeah.
And I think that there's more Tennesseans that are, agreeable to the idea or at least the discussion of recreational marijuana than there are representatives in the General Assembly that would consider it. Because I think they're worried about going back to their church congregations and talking to those folks.
They're worried about a subset of people that they think, these people are speaking for everybody else. In truth, they're not. I mean, the reality is I think a vast majority of Americans don't care. And a lot of people that, even if they don't care, they're more for you legalize and let you live your own life than saying no to it.
Well, and we'll discuss it on the show. I mean, I understand the social dynamic. I understand that there are some negatives that come along with it, but I wonder if those negatives are not already here because of the illegal drug trade. So
absolutely. And then again, you also she talks about it's almost $1,000 per driver that we spend a year on, on our cars because of the potholes. That adds up as well.
I'm understanding this correctly, too, that we're actually putting the bricks of marijuana in the potholes.
We are. That's
right?
what somebody asked her that, actually.
Yeah? Well, I mean, somebody.
That's it. Well, dude, what happened? Somebody smoked the street in front of me, dude. That's all I know. Nice. All right, you have a good Valentine's Day. So you guys out there. We will talk to you on Monday.
Which side are you on?
The right side.
Good for you.
Yeah, it's kind of the right side. Have a good one, guys. It's Super Talk 997.